Soo Jeong was a bright and diligent high school student. She also aced her college entrance exams, which made quite a few people jealous. A group of wealthy girls who couldn't stand Soo Jeong's brilliance decided to play dirty, tearing and vandalizing her umbrella. Normally, someone might just let it go, but not Soo Jeong. She wasn't the type to be easily bullied. She immediately retaliated, throwing the girl's book out the window and declaring, "Don't mess with me, you can't win against me," before walking off. It was pouring rain outside, but Soo Jeong strode through the drizzle. As strong as she seemed, seeing people being picked up by their boyfriends made her heart ache. Soo Jeong quietly put on her headphones, letting the music soothe her feelings of loneliness, and believed that one day she would meet someone she could lean on, someone to accompany her on every path. When she got home, Soo Jeong saw her younger brother, Soo Bin, addicted to online games, making a mess while he ate. Annoyed, she scolded him while cleaning up after him, then went to bed. The next morning, she was awakened by Soo Bin's noise. He'd been gaming all night. Furious, she grabbed his hair so hard that a clump came out. Soo Bin didn't have time to complain because he was busy leveling up so his friends wouldn't look down on him. Hearing this struck a nerve with Soo Jeong. She hated anyone looking down on her family, so she exploded with passion and began helping her brother level up, determined not to let him be inferior to anyone. Soo Jeong got so caught up in the game that she forgot to sleep, lost in a world of quests to eliminate packs of wolves to level up. Just as she was about to strike, a player named Vierm Long appeared, swinging his sword to finish off the wolf in front of her. Annoyed, Soo Jeong blamed him for stealing her kill. "This is my spot." Vierm Long found this amusing, saying she didn't own any shares in the place to claim it. Seeing his unpleasant attitude, Soo Jeong figured he must be in elementary school. But Vierm Long quickly corrected her. "I'm 22. She stared blankly for a few seconds before retorting, "I don't believe you. Let's duel outside, hand to hand." Before they could argue further, another pack of wolves appeared. He effortlessly defeated them, while Soo Jeong struggled due to her lower level. After the fight, he needed water to heal, but his supply was empty. Noticing that she healed easily without water, the system suggested they form a party. They agreed and coordinated well together. When Vierm Long was exhausted, Soo Jeong kindly transferred energy to him. They barely exchanged a glance when a wolf suddenly lunged at them. Vierm Long immediately shielded her and dealt a finishing blow. Before they could catch their breath, a giant wolf appeared. The two worked together, eventually defeating it. After the battle, they acknowledged each other's strength and stopped their hostility. Vierm Long invited Soo Jeong to join his team. She hesitated for a moment, then shook his hand in agreement. He took her to meet his team. The three members were all strong and high level, and their team's goal was always to prioritize victory. After some time fighting together, both Soo Jeong and Vierm Long reached the maximum level. The group decided to celebrate. They called Soo Jeong Prince because they thought she was a guy. They even lamented, shipping her with Vierm Long if she were a girl. Not wanting the misunderstanding to continue, she said frankly, "I'm a girl, don't call me Prince anymore." The whole group was shocked to hear this, since everything from the character to the account name was male. She explained that she was using her brother's account. Hearing this, they were about to call her Princess, but Soo Jeong happily asked everyone to call her Strawberry, which was her original nickname. After that, everyone again shipped her with Vierm Long. The two shyly looked at each other and decided to go to the lake to throw stones and talk. She also found out Soo Jeong played games because of her brother so that he wouldn't be looked down upon by his friends. Her mother had passed away early, and her father was busy, so she, as the older sister, had to take care of her brother. Vierm Long sympathized with this because he had no parents. The two lonely people accidentally met each other, and they promised to rely on each other and take care of each other. This was a great comfort to both lonely souls. From then on, the two messaged each other whenever they had free time, talking about everything under the sun like a real couple. This could be called being in a situationship filled with anticipation for the day they would meet. The gang was throwing a get-together. She made sure to show up early, meeting the members with a mix of emotions. First, it was excitement meeting her beautiful older sister, then surprise seeing a guy who at first glance she mistook for her crush, followed by disappointment realizing the handsome guy wasn't her crush after all. And finally, despair upon seeing Veem Long in an outrageously cool outfit, way too stylish for a kid in middle school. Everyone was shocked, especially Su Jiang. Her mood soured even further listening to the kid's awful singing. The last straw was when his wig fell off. Heartbroken, Su Jiang called him a liar and a cheat, then broke down crying and ran away. But the kid chased after her, wanting to explain why he lied. He even expressed his feelings with a cheesy, poetic proposal, flirting in front of everyone. Honestly, the onlookers were embarrassed, let alone Su Jiang. She probably wanted to crawl into a hole. She delivered a crushing blow to his self-esteem, telling him he was too immature, and stormed off, leaving the kid devastated. Bodyguards arrived to whisk him away. This was Su Jiang's first love failure. She realized she shouldn't rely on anyone anymore, and she would stand on her own 2 feet. After a few years, she became a department head, a workaholic to the point of intimidating everyone, not afraid to talk back to her bosses. She was ruthless in punishing those who did wrong. When a director dared to touch a female employee, she grabbed his hand and twisted his arm back, saying, "Straight to the ethics committee with you." When another guy smoked during a meeting, she grabbed a fire extinguisher and sprayed him in the face to teach him a lesson he'd never forget. As a result, directors kept quitting, earning her the nickname Director Destroyer. Now, everyone hoped the new director would be able to withstand Su Jiang. The heartbroken kid, Veem Long, had since transformed into a baby-faced CEO with an impressive profile, a cold personality, and sharp business acumen. He was promoted to director under his real name, Ju Yon. His mission was to revive the struggling Yangsung shopping mall, boosting its stagnant revenue and profits. The chairman reminded him to maintain a public image. But behind the glamorous facade, he became the version of himself he longed to be, embracing a unique rap style, burning with passion. While he was enjoying himself, Department Head Kwon called him about an emergency summons from the chairman. He had to rush back. Ju Yon, in a hurry, accidentally hit Su Jiang's car. She got out to assess the damage and approached Ju Yon, demanding to talk. Anxious about a potential scandal, he put on sunglasses before getting out. He tried to resolve the situation by offering his business card, saying, "Contact my lawyer." Su Jiang angrily tore up the card and pulled him back, accidentally knocking off his glasses. They looked at each other but didn't recognize each other from years ago. She wanted an apology, not this disrespectful attitude, and suspecting he couldn't afford to pay for the damage, she called the police. Amused that she was overreacting, he tried to leave, but she stopped him. Hearing that he had an urgent matter, she decided to let Su Jiang drive his car home, while she got in his car, determined to follow him to the end. Arriving at the hospital, she finally believed he had an emergency. He quickly went to see the chairman without exchanging any pleasantries with her. The chairman's son had passed away, and she wanted to see if Ju Yon was worthy of replacing her son. He solemnly replied, "I will definitely prove to the chairman that I am qualified to be the successor." Choked up, the chairman was satisfied with his answer and also warned, "If you make any mistakes, I will not tolerate it." Afterwards, they visited the deceased. He looked at the child and remembered the chairman's words from years ago ringing in his ears, "You are not worthy to cry for my son. It was people like you who killed him." Returning to reality, he wearily went home. Thankfully, he had a sanctuary where he could truly be himself and relax. The next morning, Ju Yon went through the company, department by department, looking for areas that needed improvement. He made plans to overhaul anything that wasn't up to par. When he stopped by the cafeteria, he happened to overhear Su Jiang bad-mouthing the company. He added that to his list of things to fix. Once everyone was back at work, the employees saw the director, and Su Jiang straightened up her attitude, then went to meet the new boss. She knocked repeatedly, but no one answered, so she pushed the door open to take a look and was stunned. Ju Yon was smiling, his shirt revealing a huge, sprawling tattoo across his back. She stood there dumbfounded, and he turned around. She remembered this was the creep from last night. Before she could even put 2 and 2 together, Ju Yon moved closer to her, making her jump back and scream, which forced him to cover her mouth. Actually, he'd recognized her as the woman from the night before after reviewing her file. What are the odds of these two rivals running into each other again? Su Jiang couldn't believe Ju Yon was the new director, and he insisted he was the director, not some crazy pervert. She calmed down and quickly tried to explain away what she'd said yesterday, hoping he'd forgive her. Surprisingly, Ju-yeon easily forgave her, only asking her to pretend she'd never met him outside of work and to act as if she hadn't seen what she saw just now. Soo-jeong nodded in agreement, complied, and left. Soo-jeong went to her sister to complain, confiding that it was unbelievable that the jerk from last night was actually her new boss. She worried that Ju-yeon would get revenge. To stop her from overthinking, her sister comforted her with a bowl of hot noodles. Delicious food really does make people happier. While eating, Soo-jeong wondered why the restaurant was so empty. Thinking it might be due to a poor location, she suggested her sister try promoting it on Instagram. So, she started dabbling in it herself. The next morning, Ju-yeon presented himself to the company with a cold demeanor, stating that he would help the company increase revenue and also didn't forget to threaten Soo-jeong, "I'm not like the previous directors. If we fight, I will win, you will be the loser, and you will have to leave the company." Hearing this made her lose her composure. From the company to walking down the street, she accidentally ran into Ju-yeon standing in front of a chocolate drink poster. A coworker thought she should try to butter up the director. Hearing this, Soo-jeong immediately ran over to Ju-yeon, wanting to offer him a drink, thinking he might like it. Unexpectedly, Ju-yeon refused. He knew what she was up to and, acting mature, ordered an espresso and left, leaving Soo-jeong angrily cursing under her breath. On the way, Ju-yeon took a sip of the coffee, but it was too bitter to swallow. Annoyed, he threw it in the trash. Just as he was about to leave, his eyes lit up when he saw a limited edition toy figurine he loved. He happily put on his glasses and ran over to grab it, but suddenly a small hand snatched it away. The two struggled to get the figurine. Ju-yeon had no intention of giving up, but that changed when he saw Soo-jeong again. She happily asked, "You like toys?" He started and immediately denied it, even pretending he was buying it for a child and subtly shooing her away. After that, he reluctantly swiped his card, though he was reluctant to part with the figurine. In the end, he had to accept it, bidding a regretful goodbye to the toy. And it was this that made Ju-yeon decide to fire Soo-jeong, because she had witnessed the moments of lost image that he had kept hidden for many years. He also told Chief Kwon about this plan, but she didn't understand why he wanted to fire such a talented person. Ju-yeon got defensive, causing him to retort, "Are you accusing me of acting on personal emotions?" Ju-yeon thought that was impossible, so in the end, he acted dangerous, affirming that he would find a way to make Soo-jeong leave voluntarily. Easier said than done. In the meeting, he continually made things difficult for Soo-jeong, arguing that entering the South American market was not feasible. But with her years of experience, she confidently affirmed that if they actively pursued it, the company could achieve its goals within 3 years, and she would prove it with results. After the meeting, the company threw a celebration party, but a lot of people thought it might be a farewell party for Soo-jeong, since the director had really ripped her a new one. Rumors spread like wildfire that she was on the director's hit list, but Soo-jeong told herself, "It's okay, this isn't the first time." Just then, everyone was shocked to hear that she didn't know the new director was the chairman's nephew. Before they could spill the beans and tell her, Ju-yeon showed up. Everyone froze when Ju-yeon appeared at the party. He strode in confidently and said, "This is a party celebrating my inauguration, right?" Which made Soo-jeong think fast and signal everyone to join in with the congratulations. She even tried to play hostess, offering him meat and pouring him a drink, but Ju-yeon refused everything, doing it all himself, and then he started goading her into drinking. Eventually, they were competing to see who could last the longest. After a while, tipsy from the alcohol, Soo-jeong, with all the resentment in her heart, asked Ju-yeon, "Does the director hate me? No matter what you do to me, I won't give up and I'll still try to work hard." Ju-yeon denied it. "I don't hate you. It's because you're too dangerous, so I wanted to eliminate you." Hearing that, Soo-jeong was taken aback. Then she went to the restroom. A little later, she came back and saw him passed out. She leaned in close and asked him what his home address was. He mumbled drunkenly, "Chocolate milk." Hearing that, she burst out laughing, called a taxi to take him home, and even thoughtfully bought him a carton of chocolate milk. He was like a big baby. The next morning, Ju-yeon woke up in a daze, recalling the events of the previous night, unable to believe he had ruined his perfect image in front of Soo-jeong. He vowed to take her down immediately and make sure no one ever found out, especially not the chairman or section chief Kwon. They always believed Ju Yeon never got drunk and never made mistakes. However, as soon as he arrived at the office, he overheard Soo Jeong telling her colleagues about how she'd beat him in a drinking contest, and how he was so hammered that he was asking for chocolate milk. Everyone was buzzing, saying she was a rock star, which made Ju Yeon's pride explode. He immediately snapped. "Don't you guys have any work to do? Still gossiping at this hour?" He coldly mocked and trampled all over the words she said last night and then warned her. "You think you're so hot stuff that you can sit here? Know your place. You better make sure that project plan is perfect. If there are any mistakes, you'll regret it." After ranting, he left, leaving everyone looking at Soo Jeong in confusion. She sighed and sat down, feeling frustrated. But immediately, her expression changed. She was a person with a lot of pride, and she wasn't going to be pushed around easily. She stormed straight into Ju Yeon's office and yelled, "So you think you're a big shot because you're a director? Who do you think you are to look down on and insult other people? Outside of the company, you and I are just regular people. Do you dare to come outside the company, drop all the titles, and go one-on-one with me?" Ju Yeon didn't back down either, yelling back with a challenge, "Soo Jeong, hand in your resignation and then we'll talk. Isn't that what you decided to do?" Everyone was baffled by the situation. Soo Jeong's anger flared up, and without thinking, she said, "Fine, fire me. What's so difficult about that?" Luckily, Jun-soo arrived just in time to stop her and drag her away, even as she screamed, "Say it, write it down. What am I scared of? I'll take you all on." At that moment, he wearily sat down. Team leader Kwon also warned him that if she pushed it too far, the director could be accused of workplace harassment and abuse of power. He listlessly acknowledged that, admitting he might have been a bit excessive. Outside, Jun-soo gave her a bottle of water to calm down. After settling down, she thought she was being a little too much, acting like a crazy person. But she wasn't wrong. She cursed Ju Yeon under her breath. Does the boss think he can say whatever he wants and treat anyone however he likes? So, if you're just a subordinate, you don't even have the right to speak up. We're all just working for a living. At this point, Jun-soo couldn't hold it in anymore and said, "Did you know that the director is the chairman's direct grandson and heir to the Yongsung Group?" She was stunned, not knowing what to do. Suddenly, an idea sparked in her mind. In these Keeball families, who doesn't have a skeleton in their closet? So, she decided to follow Ju Yeon after work to see if he had any earth-shattering secrets. She followed him and saw him change clothes in the subway station before heading to a rap club. He indulged his passion for music. She smiled as she saw this side of him and even took a few pictures to look at when she got home, intending to let Ju Yeon know she had something on him. He quickly showed up at her place, wanting to talk. She hesitated, and eventually, they went to a restaurant. He presented a contract asking her to delete all the photos, keep his private life a secret, and, most importantly, be available whenever he called. In return, Soo Jeong would have a stable job. Of course, she happily agreed and signed it right away. The next morning at work, Soo Jeong cheerfully started a conversation with Ju Yeon, and he responded just as cheerfully. Outsiders would think they were getting along great, not knowing that just yesterday they were mortal enemies. But Ju Yeon wasn't going to let her off the hook that easily. He called her to his office a dozen times a day, always right at lunchtime, so she barely had time to put food in her mouth before rushing off. Once there, she was given trivial tasks, sitting and shredding pile after pile of documents. Ju Yeon did this because he wanted to keep a close watch on her, even making her come along when he went shopping. She had to watch him try on outfit after outfit, and then he demanded she wear the clothes he had chosen. She reluctantly obeyed. After a while, Ju Yeon stared blankly at her as she emerged in a seductive outfit. Then, he took her to a party. She really didn't want to go to places like this, especially when they involved the wealthy elite. But Ju Yeon delivered a few typical CEO lines and then left to meet old friends, leaving Soo Jeong alone. Wandering around, she ran into a condescending jerk who wanted her to hang out with him. Annoyed by his attitude, she gave him a piece of her mind, which led him to try to drag her away. Soo Jeong didn't back down. She broke free and kicked him in the shin. He was in pain and about to slap Soo Jeong, but he paused when he met her sharp gaze. However, he still lunged toward her when Ju-yeon suddenly appeared, grabbed his arm, and threw him into the pool. He grabbed her hand and said, "Sweetheart, let's go." Soo-jeong was confused. "Why did you call me sweetheart?" Ju-yeon became flustered, saying he misspoke. Then the guy surfaced, angrily shouting, "Who does she think she is to treat me like that?" Ju-yeon honestly replied, "She's an extremely important and irreplaceable employee at the company." Afterward, the two of them left. In the car, she complained that she was hungry because she hadn't eaten yet, and her stomach was making noises, so Ju-yeon finally agreed to take her to a restaurant. She sat down and confided in him, wondering when Ju-yeon would stop watching her so closely, since it was already late and past working hours. She also affirmed that she wasn't stupid enough to expose the director's private life and get sued. She wouldn't have the money to pay it, and her high-paying job would go up in smoke. Ju-yeon was rather pleased to hear her say that, thinking they had reduced some of the hostility between them. But the next morning at the office, when she returned the clothes to him, Ju-yeon refused to take them and didn't forget to criticize her for not having the clothes dry cleaned before returning them. That was the polite thing to do. She was furious and said, "I can take them to the dry cleaners. What's the big deal? But you're paying for it." After that, she went into her office, muttering, "You jerk, so full of yourself." Unexpectedly, Ju-yeon and she had to defend their statement in the meeting. They worked well together and nominated the Gangnam branch for this Gangnam redevelopment project. And with its prime location, finding customers wouldn't be a problem. No sooner said than done. The two went to the branch to scout the area and plan the project. Ju-yeon suggested to the manager that they should make sure everyone wanted to participate in the survey so they could understand which brands, products, and services customers desired, to hit them right in the feels. Just go all out with the money. After finishing up, the two continued their inspection and ran into a picky customer who was complaining about buying glasses for millions of won and then having to pay 800,000 won for repairs. Soo-jeong thought Ju-yeon would step in to resolve the issue, but instead, he did something ridiculous, putting on the glasses and striking a brand pose. Everyone was speechless. Then, the man brushed him off and told him to stop messing around and leave, causing Ju-yeon's blood to boil, ready to fight with the customer. Luckily, Soo-jeong stopped him. She negotiated with the guy, suggesting that instead of paying for repairs, why not just buy a new pair for only 650,000 won? Hearing this, his eyes lit up and he tried them on. Ju-yeon saw him and realized that this was his idol. He was stunned and instinctively raised his hand, wanting to. The customer was happy and took the glasses home. After leaving the store, the two still watched him go. Ju-yeon looked regretful that he couldn't get his idol's autograph publicly. Soo-jeong understood his feelings and generously offered to help him get an autograph. Not only that, she also took a picture with the idol, asking Ju-yeon to hold the camera. He looked at this scene with a storm brewing in his heart, quickly and enthusiastically snapping pictures of the idol's face, while Soo-jeong was completely forgotten. On the way back, Soo-jeong complained about how he didn't take any pictures of her and how he was acting towards someone who was helping him. Ju-yeon's mind was still preoccupied with the wallet with his idol's autograph. She saw him so happy and felt happy for him. She even encouraged him to freely enjoy the things he liked, even if he was the heir. What's wrong with that? Ju-yeon, without missing a beat, said dryly, "The chairman is the one who decides the heir, not the section chief." She was speechless. Just as she was about to leave, he grabbed her hand because a fountain suddenly shot up. They admired the beautiful scene together. Back at the company, they praised each other. Ju-yeon praised her for being talented, and she praised him in front of colleagues for being decisive and quick-witted. Is there anything more? He was surprised, thinking that she had always disliked the director. That evening, Soo-jeong stayed late to work overtime. Ju-yeon told her sarcastically, "Don't work late uselessly, just go home." He even told her, "Don't dry clean the clothes anymore, just take that outfit home." He even blurted out that it looked good, leaving Soo-jeong baffled. On the weekend, Ju-yeon relieved stress by listening to music and cleaning up his favorite toys, diligently cleaning the house, ironing clothes, and drinking his favorite milk. It was a wonderful feeling. He relaxed, remembering what Soo-jeong said, which was very true, and closed his eyes to enjoy the moment. Soo-jeong went to her sister's shop. She was surprised to see luxurious items there. She wondered who gave her sister these gifts for the opening. Her sister nervously tried to hide that all of these were from Black Dragon, but a robot printing the words "Gifted by Black Dragon" was revealed. Su Jiang was shocked and gaped, then said, "You're still in contact with that guy? Why? You were also scammed by him?" Her sister reluctantly said that he was too good at gaming. Afraid that Su Jiang would cut ties with her, she said, "I'll throw these away." Su Jiang saw that the items were too heavy and said, "Just sell them to the scrap dealer, then I'll be satisfied." A new day began. The two went to work and ran into each other. At first, they casually talked about a smartwatch. The atmosphere became awkward when Su Jiang leaned in to look at Ju Yon's watch. The two looked at each other until the elevator opened, revealing Section Chief Kwon. The two were so startled that she pushed him away. Entering the office, she inadvertently picked up a toy egg that looked remarkably like Ju Yon's. He remembered meticulously cleaning it and putting it away at home. He felt disoriented when Chief Kwon asked, "Whose is this?" Everyone was clueless. The two turned to look at Ju Yon, which frightened him, and he left, claiming he'd forgotten something. Anxious, he rushed home to check if the egg was still there. Upon opening the box, he realized one pink egg was missing. He collapsed to the ground in a panic, reliving a terrible memory. Back then, he'd arrived home late, on the anniversary of his parents' death. The chairman had scolded him. What corner did that appearance crawl out of? And then slapped him hard. She brought out all the toys and dumped them in front of him, reminding him that these discarded toys were the reason her only son had died. She ordered the bodyguards to burn them all, despite Ju Yon's crying and begging her not to. He screamed as he watched the toys burn. They weren't just toys, they were memories connected to his parents. That day was a painful one, haunting him to this day. Back in the present, he accidentally spotted the pink egg. It was under the cabinet. So, the egg at the office must belong to someone else. Finally, Ju Yon composed himself and went to the office, only to overhear colleagues talking to Su Jiang. A grown man liking this kind of stuff is so tacky. Playing with these things at his age. Su Jiang must have been hurt. Annoyed, he took it out on Su Jiang under the guise of returning the dress. After thinking it over the other day, I realized I'm not a charity giving things away. Su Jiang was angered and said, "I didn't ask for it. Did I beg you for the dress?" She even went further, saying, "I'm the one who gave to you. Isn't it me who turns a blind eye to your private life that you are hiding? What would happen if the world knows about your secret?" She cheerfully said that she will bring the dress to return on Monday, then leaves, leaving Ju Yon in a sad mood. Luckily, his favorite package arrived, cheering him up. He went home, opened it, and tried it out when suddenly the power went out. He had no choice but to start studying physics to fix the power himself. After a while, he just called an electrician. Inadvertently, he called Su Jiang's house. Her father answered. He gave his address, asking if Su Jiang's father could come immediately for 5 times the usual rate. The father and daughter perked up at the big money. However, as the father was about to decline because he was busy, Su Jiang butted in, agreeing that she would go fix the power herself. Upon arrival, Su Jiang was in awe of the vastness of the house. She went inside and approached Ju Yon's secret door. At this point, Ju Yon was watching the camera in his car and was surprised to see that the electrician was a woman. She heard a familiar voice and accidentally spotted Ju Yon's signature wallet. The two realized who the other was and were shocked. Ju Yon raced up to the house, while Su Jiang had already opened his secret door. Ju Yon's childhood had been filled with happiness when his parents took him to his favorite anime convention. But that joy quickly turned to tragedy when a truck crashed into them. His father desperately swerved. The collision of the two vehicles took the lives of his parents, leaving only him alive. At the funeral, he wasn't allowed to cry because his grandmother said he had no right to. She blamed him for the death of her son. From then on, he became a thorn in her side. The anniversary of his parents' death became a time of inconsolable grief as he watched his grandmother hug her son's clothes to ease her longing. He blamed himself for everything. Finally, he decided to propose something to her. "I'll take my father's place, trying to study hard to become the person you want me to be." But the more he did that, the lonelier he became. Even the few things he relied on were taken away. After growing up, he secretly built a haven where he could find peace. This was a place no one could intrude upon. And now, Su Jiang had unexpectedly stepped into Ju Yon's world, intrigued by the unique toys. When Ju Yon ran up and asked why she was here, she just smiled, praising how nicely he decorated the room and how he also liked these things. Ju Yon awkwardly denied it, saying, "This is my nephew's room," quickly explaining himself and trying to get her to leave. Su Jiang ignored him, focusing on fixing the power. He didn't believe she could do it. But she proved him wrong by making the lights come on. According to Ju Yon, his subconscious began tapping his foot to the rhythm. Su Jiang caught him in the act and stared, making him self-consciously stop. When she touched his belongings, he inadvertently revealed a deep understanding of paintings, exposing the truth that this was his personal space, not some nephew's. This helped Su Jiang gain a better understanding of the real Ju Yon. Having finished her task, she started packing up, intending to head home when she unexpectedly received a call from the hospital. Her father was there. Ju Yon overheard and offered to take her there, despite Su Jiang's initial refusal. Upon arriving, and while waiting outside the operating room, the doctor emerged and announced that her father's surgery had been successful and that he now needed to be admitted for further observation. Her father was taken to a VIP room personally paid for by Ju Yon. Su Jiang was speechless. Afterward, the two of them went to visit her father. The father and daughter had a heartfelt conversation. Seeing him so cheerful reassured her. She didn't forget to thank the director for the special consideration given to her and her father. Then she saw Ju Yon off. He noticed her smiling and wondered, "You've been smiling ever since. I thought you weren't much of a smiler." Su Jiang was trying to mask her underlying anxiety. After Ju Yon left, she broke down in tears. Perhaps she feared that her father would suffer the same fate as her mother when she was little, suddenly lying in a hospital bed and passing away. Ju Yon, turning back, saw this scene and became thoughtful. Then, a text message arrived from Su Jiang. "Thank you so much for today. Get home safe." Ju Yon quietly left the doll she'd wanted earlier. Su Jiang received it and smiled happily. The next morning, she took leave from work to care for her father. Fortunately, her younger brother was available to take her shift. She was hesitant because he liked being a civil servant. Su Bin advised her, "If you get sick too, how will our family manage?" In the end, she agreed to go home but stopped by Ju Yon's place to pick up her things. Coincidentally, her car broke down. Ju Yon worriedly told her to get it serviced, but she refused. He urged, "What if something happens?" Not wanting to end up in the hospital with her father, she immediately got out of the car. Finally, she and he went to a service center and waited for the car to be repaired. During their conversation, she found out that Ju Yon had seen her crying. He even teased her that she shouldn't be ashamed since everyone has moments of weakness. She earnestly said it wasn't about her father. She was only recalling childhood memories of her mother, which caused her pain, that's all. Hearing this, he offered a few words of comfort to cheer her up. Afterward, the car repair was finished, and she was informed that it couldn't be repaired. He suggested she buy a new car, but she resisted. Therefore, Ju Yon readily offered to gift her a fancy new car. She was a little embarrassed and declined, but Ju Yon said, "If your superior is generous and kind, you should accept it." What a truly warm-hearted CEO. The following morning, Ju Yon had a meeting with the chairman to present a project report. On the way, a little boy accidentally dropped his iPad. Instead of scolding, he simply told the boy's father, "If you want to compensate, just buy something at Yongsung," and left. Fortunately, the plan was still on the computer. When department head Kwon was about to ask the secretary to get it, Ju Yon suddenly remembered something and quickly stopped him, claiming he had saved a copy on his phone. Quickly, he hid in the men's room and called Su Jiang, asking her to help him unlock his computer to retrieve the project file. What he was worried about was that the password seemed a bit childish. He was afraid she would reveal this secret. Annoyed, she said, "If you don't trust me, ask someone else." Finally, he recited the password, "I am the devil." He must want to pull his pants over his head. Then, after meeting with the chairman, she approved of the plan. But there was one thing. "You should rectify things internally yourself." He replied, "Yes, I'm preparing to do that." Having finished the task, he ran to the company to see Su Jiang. Seeing her smiling brightly, she teased him to change his password. He gritted his teeth and said, "I know how to handle it myself." Seeing that he was about to get angry, she gave him a chocolate milk, which he loved. At this moment, his mood brightened up as he drank it. Sujiang, looking at him, must have thought, this guy is really cute. On the way home, he accidentally ran into Ha-jin. He tried to avoid her, but she called out to him. He recalled when the two met before he went to study in the United States. He apologized to her and everyone in the group for not staying in touch, not even playing games anymore. He also declared, I won't be meeting you all again in the future, because we are from two different worlds now. Ha-jin thought her brother was just being strange, and she wasn't eager to meet him again. Back in reality, Ha-jin was helpless when facing Ju-yeon's awkward behavior, talking while wearing headphones, sitting in opposite directions. Ju-yeon hoped Ha-jin wouldn't act like they knew each other. Therefore, she promised not to meet him again. Then he left. The new day begins. She looks over the list of Gangnam branch stores that the business department sent over. Something feels off. Too many brands. It doesn't make sense. Revenue will inevitably decline. But the list was proposed by the director himself, so no one dares to say anything. She goes to ask for clarification, but Ju-yeon only responds with a cold. Are you trying to go against my decision? Hearing that, she's quite disappointed, and says to him, is this all the perfect successor that the director mentioned is capable of? During the meeting, she wants to salvage the situation, hoping he can realize that these brands are not suitable for the Yongsung shopping center. Ju-yeon then speaks up, saying, does anyone want to object? Don't be so quiet. You all fall for such an obvious trap. What I'm doing is trying to help everyone change the way they work, so don't be afraid and let the company go downhill. After the meeting, Ju-yeon looks for Sujiang. Seeing that she seems troubled, he asks her if something's wrong. She says, the feeling of being tested is really awful. He knows he went a little too far, so he asks, what can I do to make it up to you? Finally, he takes her to the arcade. She happily shows off her gaming skills, impressing everyone. Seeing her like that, Ju-yeon's competitive side emerges, so he decides the two of them will have a one-on-one competition in many games, enjoying every moment together. Later, Ha-jin calls and asks her what she's doing. She wants to invite Sujiang to eat at her place. Sujiang says, I'm out with my boss. Ha-jin cheerfully replies, invite your boss to come along. Finally, the two of them leave. When they arrive at Ha-jin's place, suddenly, Ha-jin's sister shows up. Sujiang answers the phone, but has a shocked expression, while Ha-jin hides behind the door. The sister doesn't want Sujiang to realize that Ju-yeon is Black Flame Dragon from back then, so she lies to her, saying that a guy named Flame Dragon is at the restaurant. Hearing that, Sujiang immediately pulls Ju-yeon away and pins him against the wall. Ju-yeon asks her why she's running away. Sujiang reveals, being there reminds me of my dark past. It's that guy who scammed me in a game, who I hate the most. Ju-yeon then says, looking at you now, anyone would think you're the one trying to scam someone. Saying this because she's in a position that looks like a misunderstanding. She doesn't realize her hand is on his chest. Only when he mentions it does she startle and say, I didn't expect your chest to be so firm. I thought it was the wall. Ha-jin's sister at the restaurant is wondering. Black Flame Dragon is unexpectedly Sujiang's boss. This is really awkward. On the way home, Sujiang says, we can stop at the bus stop here. Ju-yeon wants to stay by her side, so he asks her what bus she's taking. Sujiang thought he was going back to the company, but he wants to ride the same bus with her because of her. The two of them stand there for a long time, unsure what to say. Sujiang gives him the stuffed animal that she won at the arcade while Ju-yeon was playing games, thinking he would be touched. But instead, Ju-yeon complains, this thing is a fake, it doesn't have a tag. He criticizes it, but his body honestly accepts the gift. I'll accept it tonight out of pity for you. The next day, Sujiang asks Ha-jin why that guy Black Flame Dragon was at the shop yesterday. She thought her sister only contacted her occasionally, but instead she wasted her time bringing her boss there and didn't even get to eat anything. Ha-jin asks curiously, since when have you two become so close? Isn't he the crazy guy you're always complaining about anymore? Well, I went out with him and realized he's not so bad. Ha-jin then says, so, what if that Black Flame Dragon guy is similar to that director? Soo Jeong retorts. That's impossible. What connection could those two have? From the start, that crazy guy was a mess. Even if he wins a Nobel Prize, I wouldn't like that black flame dragon. Don't say things like that, or you'll get bad karma, Sister Soo Jeong. Suddenly, the director calls, and Soo Jeong's angry expression suddenly turns into that of a kitten, which Ha Jin can't believe. Is this the same girl who was just angry? You change faces faster than an ex-boyfriend turns his back. When Ha Jin arrived at the office, she saw Ju Yeon with his brother, Sin Won. Not being particularly close, she curiously approached them and asked, "Are you too close or something?" Then, pulling Sin Won aside, thinking she wanted to get rough, she instead inquired about Ju Yeon's past. Who was his first love? What made him get dumped back then? At an internet cafe, he took Ju Yeon out to hang out, and the younger brother asked if he wanted to play Legend of Whirlwind. After enlisting in the military, Ju Yeon came to him asking for advice on how to confess to a girl he liked. He had fallen for a girl online. Sin Won, acting all cocky, told Ju Yeon, "I'm the type of guy who always has girls confessing to me, so I can't really give you any advice on how to confess to a girl." As a result, the inexperienced Ju Yeon got rejected and his hobbies were insulted. So he bluntly declared to his brother, "From now on, that strawberry name, I will resent it for life." From that day on, he focused on becoming the perfect successor to the Yongsung group. So basically, his first love was a terrifying experience where his personal integrity and honor were attacked. Ha Jin told Sin Won, "Do you know how shocked she was when she met him? Why did he lie about his age?" The two siblings were telling stories about their younger siblings and suddenly started bickering, talking bad about the other's sibling. Then the two of them fell in love just like their younger siblings, hitting it off perfectly and making it a win-win for everyone. Ju Yeon vowed that he wouldn't let the person who stained his life get away with it. Ha Jin said Soo Jeong must feel the same. That kid will retaliate with all the embarrassment and humiliation she had to endure. Tit for tat is her motto. Soo Jeong suddenly realized, could these two people be, could they be equally terrifying? Luckily, the two people never met again. But she was probably wrong. Ha Jin said, not only do they meet again, but they also stick together like glue. At this point, Soo Jeong started to have a hunch. Could the Soo Jeong she's talking about be Chief Beak, the director destroyer? Is it possible they haven't realized they're exes? Ha Jin said they just haven't realized it yet, and they're actually pretty close right now. If those two actually have feelings for each other, the two immediately imagined a scenario where Ju Yeon fired Soo Jeong, and she blew up the Yongsung group with a bomb. They had to immediately separate those two before it was too late. The next day, Ju Yeon was planning to wait for Soo Jeong, but Sin Won shut the elevator doors immediately. He asked Sin Won why, and Sin Won said, "I'm busy every second of the day, and I've done some extra digging on that Chief Beak, and it looks like she's interested in some guy in the company." Thinking that this would make Ju Yeon give up and overthink, back in his office, he struck a CEO pose, smiling like a crazy person while taking selfies. Could it be that the person she likes is me? Truly, an optimist sees everything optimistically. When Soo Jeong got back to her sister's shop, she saw nothing but single guys sitting alone everywhere. It turned out that Ha Jin had planned it all so that Soo Jeong would be set up with someone else instead of that disaster, Ju Yeon. Even at work, Ha Jin reminded Soo Jeong to work alone. Suddenly, a colleague brought in a logo design for everyone to admire, and also talked about a recent event. Chief Kim seems to be really popular. The female colleague gushed over him, saying he was cool, drop-dead gorgeous, and had a great presence. The two even drank coffee and talked about work. Soo Jeong asked, "Why meet up privately to talk about company matters without asking me? I thought you guys were dating or something," the colleague then said. Chief Kim only asked about Soo Jeong and nothing else. During work, Sin Won was about to text Soo Jeong when she texted him. They asked if you were free. When quitting time rolled around, Ju Yeon went to find Soo Jeong, but a colleague said she had already left. He was about to go home when he heard a colleague say, "What's up with those two going together?" Ju Yeon went backwards, eavesdropping desperately. "What did you just say? Who does Chief Beak like, and who did she meet?" The colleague said it was Chief Kim, who is also Ju Yeon's brother, and Soo Jeong. "I mean, if you want to talk to Soo Jeong about something, you can talk about it at the office. Why would they meet up here to talk about it? Ju-yeon happened to be walking past the coffee shop when he saw them, chatting and laughing. The scene made him feel like an outsider, and he thought to himself, guess I'm not the one involved in the office romance rumor after all. Inside, Soo-jeong was fuming. She couldn't believe Sin-won had been investigating her behind her back. Was he holding a grudge because he was close to the old director? Or the old director before that? Or the one before that? Was he trying to undermine her or something? Soo-jeong snapped. Don't be such a coward and investigate people behind their backs, he retorted. You planning on working under Ju-yeon forever? She thought he was about to fire her and waited for his answer. But Soo-jeong was speechless, so she simply said goodbye and left. Later, Ju-yeon was at home reading the book 6001 A Kiss, which kept reminding him of the scene he'd witnessed earlier. The more he read, the more frustrated he got that the person he liked was going out with someone else. He decided he had to talk to Soo-jeong and get to the bottom of things. He said, as your superior, I can't ignore these unpleasant rumors about my employees. He handed Soo-jeong the book 6001 A Kiss, and she thought he was recommending a new read. But he said, don't fall for these smooth-talking jerks. You want to get played again? He was clearly referring to Section Chief Kim and the possibility of a relationship between them. She said that wasn't the case. He pressed on. Then why were the two of you meeting up at a cafe after work? I'm disappointed. Never thought Section Chief Beek would be charmed by him. This CEO buddy of mine is clearly a basket case. She responded, you mean that friendly, polite smile? I hate it. She said she would only like it if that smile was reserved only for her, even if it was clumsy or foolish. Then, he asked why she'd met with Kim. She thought, is Section Chief Kim trying to dig up dirt on me to bring me down or something? Realizing he'd misunderstood Soo-jeong, he awkwardly grabbed a piece of bread and started eating it. This bread is really good today, he said while choking on it. Back at home, Soo-jeong wondered, what if I actually have feelings for Ju-yeon? Even if he is a jerk, I'd like it. Ju-yeon said he wouldn't stand for it, that he'd stop her until she was over him, no matter what. Add a Michelin boy as an ally. Coincidentally, her younger brother came home and saw the scene. He ran into the house, shouting to their dad. Soo-jeong's getting chased by debt collectors, her dad replied. I've got stacks of bills I haven't paid yet. You want to give me a heart attack? But looking at Soo-jeong's expression, he wondered if the director had feelings for her. Her younger brother Soo-bin exclaimed, you're saying someone like someone as uptight, grumpy, and difficult to be around as my sister? They must be insane if they like her. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Running his mouth off as usual, he almost got a call from his wife. The next day at Yongsung Company, Section Chief Kwon was wondering why the sales team had replaced the Ganghan Farm brand with Happy Milk. The sales team leader replied, because the farm is difficult to work with. They said they wouldn't sign with us, even if we offered them 10 billion won. Soo-jeong replied, if it's difficult, we have to try even harder. The sales team leader snapped back. If it's so easy, why don't you do it? After the meeting, Soo-jeong immediately found Section Chief Kwon and asked, you're planning to go to the farm yourself? Well, good luck with that. On the other side of the company, Ju-yeon was working on something when Section Chief Kwon came to see him. He asked why they were cutting Ganghan Farm. Section Chief Kwon said it was the sales team's decision. Ganghan Farm is adamant about not cooperating with us because they hate big corporations. Ju-yeon told Section Chief Kwon to find a way to handle it, and she said Soo-jeong had already gone to persuade them herself. Hearing that, he didn't say anything and just left, leaving Section Chief Kwon perplexed. The next day, Soo-jeong, following her plan, waited for the director of the Gangnam Farm to arrive and rushed to carry her things. The director, seeing Soo-jeong's enthusiasm, asked why she had come today. Soo-jeong said she loved the ice cream from this farm and had personally come all the way from Seoul to try it. It would be great if it was sold in shopping malls so everyone could enjoy it. Director Gang Suk, hearing this, immediately realized she was from the Yongsung Corporation. She sent her away right then and there for a simple reason. I don't cooperate with tycoons who only care about money. While Soo-jeong was trying to explain, Ju-yeon suddenly appeared, dressed to the nines. He invited the director into his car and was about to introduce himself when Soo-jeong cut him off. saying Ju-yeon was her younger brother and a driver. She conveniently pushed the director into the car and told him to take all three of them to the farm. Thinking she was upset with him, Soo-jeong explained, "Director Gang Suk can't stand people who look like wealthy tycoon, like you." When he said he came to help her, she thought he believed she couldn't do it, that he didn't trust her abilities and was there to mock her. But in reality, he just wanted to be with a person he liked. Ju-yeon asked why they had to pretend to be younger siblings instead of a couple dating a younger man. Soo-jeong retorted, "Stop talking nonsense and go find director Gang Suk. You. If we don't get this collaboration, we're finished." The two began their plan to show their good side to the farm director, helping people transport produce, cows, and playing with the children. But director Gang Suk completely ignored them, making them feel like they were just making a fool of themselves. Soo-jeong said they should try one last time to persuade director Gang Suk. But the director, annoyed, grabbed a shovel and yelled, "You people came to my place, made a ruckus, and now how much longer are you planning to cause trouble?" At Ha-jin's house, Sin-won came to invite her out to discuss their siblings. Unexpectedly, on the way, he only asked about Ha-jin, making her curious. "Is it okay for you to be here like this? I think a lot of people are looking for you." Ignoring his colleagues' calling, Sin-won, because of the girl, said, "I'm free all day." That evening, Soo-jeong didn't have any clothes to change into, so she temporarily wore director Gang Suk's clothes. Ju-yeon, being a CEO, had spare clothes wherever he went. He told Soo-jeong she needed to be prepared. "Like me." Seeing that the director's house was quite small, he immediately asked, "Why doesn't the director live in a better place?" Soo-jeong, not wanting him to offend the director, scolded, "Are you asking to get your butt spanked, Ju-yeon? The director has donated her assets and lives simply. Apologize to the director." Unexpectedly, he asked further, "A director should live in a more spacious house. It's not strong enemies I fear, but useless teammates." The director ignored him and said, "You two, sit down and eat." Ju-yeon looked around. Everywhere he looked were memories of the director and her grandson. Feeling sad, he said, "Her grandson must have been very happy." The director, hearing this, seemed happier than she had been that afternoon. Seizing the opportunity, Soo-jeong suggested that the director collaborate with Yongsung. The director said she was persistent. "How much can you do, dedicating yourself so completely to capitalism, young lady? Well, eat your food and we'll talk about it later." After the meal, Soo-jeong, curious about the white bottle of milk in the refrigerator, asked, "Can I drink this?" The director told her, "Make yourself at home." Soo-jeong immediately tried the new product and discovered it was delicious. She offered Ju-yeon a taste, and he realized it was alcohol, so he told Soo-jeong not to drink. They should take the bus home later. He was worried she'd get carsick and do something crazy. The director said there were no buses running at this hour and suggested he drive them instead, or better yet, they could just stay the night. Since they'd already had some alcohol, they sat together, pouring drinks and opening their hearts while gazing at the sky, sharing stories and sips of saju. Ju-yeon was curious why she worked so hard. She shared a story from her past. When she was doing pull-ups on the monkey bars, some guy had said, "What's a girl doing playing like a monkey?" That just made her try even harder. She hated people who arbitrarily limited and judged others' abilities, which is why she was so driven. "Do you understand that feeling of wanting to be recognized for what you can do?" Ju-yeon said he did too. He also wanted to be acknowledged and despised being looked down on. Soo-jeong said they really had a lot in common, even their first loves. If those two ever found out they were each other's most hated enemy, they'd probably lose faith in love. Suddenly, a phone call interrupted them. It was Ha-jin calling. Soo-jeong said, "Is he even a real man? He's the same age as Soo-bin, so I just think of him as a little brother." Ha-jin asked, "Aren't you worried if this whole thing gets out?" Soo-jeong found her sister's excessive concern a little strange and wondered why she'd been trying to keep them apart lately. Returning to the table, Soo-jeong saw Ju-yeon sitting with his eyes closed, and she thought he was asleep. But then he grabbed her hand. "I'm really annoyed. Why do you keep looking down on me?" As revenge, he kissed Soo-jeong, leaving her unable to resist, partly due to the alcohol. "To punish you, I'll kiss you all night long to prove to you that I'm not some pushover." After the kiss, Soo-jeong tried to sleep but couldn't, staying awake the whole night. Why did we have to kiss last night? Even if we were drunk, why did it have to be a kiss? She considered the situation over and over and could only come up with one explanation. Ju-yeon liked her. Looking at the clock, it was already 6 a.m. Exhausted, Soo-jeong went outside and discovered she wasn't the only one who'd stayed up all night. Ju-yeon hadn't been able to sleep either. He suggested they take a walk together. Ju-yeon said he'd found a really beautiful spot on the other side of the farm. Thinking he was about to confess his feelings, Soo-jeong rejected him as soon as he opened his mouth, completely confusing Ju-yeon. He was just pointing out the location of the spot he wanted to go to, but Soo-jeong had already jumped to conclusions. Did he want to change the confession location? On the way, she kept nervously glancing at Ju-yeon. Reaching a stream, she thought Ju-yeon was going to confess his feelings here. But no, this was the place director and had mentioned where they got the water for making alcohol. He just invited her here to try the spring water. Talk about overthinking it. Eventually, they got there. Soo-jeong was about to step up to scoop some water when she tripped on a rock and fell into Ju-yeon's arms. He said, "This won't do. There are too many leaves here. Young-sung's successor has to be somewhere beautiful." He seemed embarrassed and needed to come up with some unrelated excuse. Back at the house, director and finally agreed to partner with Young-sung Group. Ju-yeon assured her that she wouldn't regret this decision. Afraid that director and still looked down on the keyball, Soo-jeong chimed in. He's just like that. He likes to play the president. But the director knew Ju-yeon was a keyball all along. Early that morning, he had gone to the stream himself to get water for director and had introduced himself as the director of Young-sung Group. He explained that Chairman Young Hyo-seon of Young-sung Group loved the company more than herself. As her grandson, he was simply fulfilling her wishes. If director agreed to sign the contract, Ju-yeon would use a charity foundation to invest in a donation project for the farm's hospital and invest in building an ice cream factory for children's hospitals. He hoped those kids could be as healthy as director and's grandson. This was the reason why she agreed to partner with Young-sung Group. She even gave them the vegetables from yesterday and some local fruits as a souvenir. On the way home, Ju-yeon casually mentioned that yesterday she thought he was going to confess his feelings for her. So Soo had mentally prepared herself, thinking he would make a move. But then Ju-yeon said, "You've worked so hard. And if you don't mind, would you like to listen to the music I usually listen to?" Soo-jeong felt utterly deflated. She thought she was about to get a confession, but instead, she had to listen to this terrible song that left her speechless. She wondered when this little rascal would finally make a move. Arriving at her house, he asked, "Is the director just leaving like this?" He then remembered there was one more thing to do, the local gifts. Soo-jeong was dumbfounded and asked, "Are you just going to gloss over what happened last night? Explain yourself." He said that such minor mistakes should just be overlooked. Hearing the word mistake made her furious. "I'm not crazy enough to do that. You know, from now on, I absolutely won't think of you as a man." Ju-yeon, not understanding, asked, "Did I ever ask you to think of me as a man?" "Well, if you had asked, maybe I would have considered it." The CEO couldn't understand why Soo-jeong was sulking at him. Back home, he remembered that last night, after Soo-jeong made a phone call, she left him to sleep alone outside on the wooden platform. That's all he could remember. As for Soo-jeong, she was furious that the little rascal considered their kiss a mistake. She grabbed a hammer and banged on the cabinet to vent her anger. Her dad asked what she was doing, and she said, "I hate that I can't hit some guy on the head. Is it too noisy, Dad? Or should I just break it?" Her dad, seeing this, got scared, so he let Soo-jeong continue venting, lest he become a victim himself. That night, she still couldn't sleep because of what happened earlier. Soo-jeong held her teddy bear as if she wanted to strangle Ju-yeon. "If it was a mistake, you should apologize. Should I punch him a few times to let off some steam?" she called Ju-yeon, who was sleeping soundly. How can such a cruel person live so peacefully? He thought Soo-jeong was calling about company matters, but instead, he got yelled at in the middle of the night. He reminded her of everything he remembered, starting with her giving him rice wine that made him sleep outside all night. He said that him overlooking that was already a deep act of understanding. Ju-yeon thought she was upset about that other thing, and he said he'd already moved past it. "Or do you want to apologize?" It was about her leaving and saying she didn't see him as a man. Soo Jeong should be the one apologizing. Only then did she realize that this little rascal had completely forgotten about their kiss. This made her even angrier, and she hugged her blanket and screamed. As for Joo-yeon, he remembered being called not a man, and he woke up and got angry at his sleep mask. As a result, the next morning, while exercising, he kept muttering about how he wasn't a man. He even came up with a new plan, to do push-ups for 2 years to become more manly. When showering, he had to look in the mirror and strike self-obsessed poses to feel better. Not stopping there, at work, Joo-yeon asked department head Kwon, "What do you like most about your husband?" Slightly surprised that the director was asking about her personal life, she frankly shared that her husband was smart, talented, a gentleman, and did 100 different things. Every word made Joo-yeon feel like he had all those qualities, and he smiled confidently. Department head Kwon then asked, "Has something happened to the director in the past week or something?" He said that caring about employees was also his job. When leading a group of employees to inspect the company, he self-obsessively looked in the mirror, admired his handsome CEO looks, and laughed to show generosity, just like department head Kwon had described. He even treated the entire group to lunch at a restaurant in the luxury hotel chain to earn points with Soo Jeong. He subtly mentioned that he had prepared individual lobsters for everyone. As for Soo Jeong, she looked at him and didn't understand what Joo-yeon was trying to do. Colleagues started gossiping and praising him. The business department head said that if she got with the director, she would be ecstatic. Joo-yeon's face lit up. Seeing Soo Jeong sitting alone, the business department head came over and said sarcastically, "I thought Director Ban was very difficult, but I didn't know he could be so thoughtful. Any girl he sets his eyes on is really lucky." Soo Jeong wondered why she was saying that to her. It was simply because she saw that the two worked well together and were close, so she was jealous. Soo Jeong said that she wasn't the type to dream of dating or marrying the director. Coincidentally, Joo-yeon was present and said to the business department head, "Why be so uninspired?" silencing her with the comment and ending the conversation. After dinner, Ha-jin called Soo Jeong to ask about the recent trip to the farm. "Did you and the director get home okay?" Soo Jeong, annoyed, immediately cursed and said, "Why don't you call him idiot too? That dark, crazy, stupid guy couldn't possibly have anything interesting happen." Hearing this, Ha-jin was happy for her younger sister. It seemed that these two rivals wouldn't end up together after all. She then casually introduced a potential match for her to go on a blind date with. She hasn't even gotten married herself, but loves to play matchmaker for others. Ha-jin's mother went ballistic and scolded her. Why is this old maid so concerned with other people's business instead of her own? Muttering as she went out, "Go on a blind date, my foot." Rue suddenly appeared and asked, "Are you planning on going on a blind date? How tall is he? I bet his education and job are on par with yours, right?" Chu happened to appear and asked, "Who's going on a blind date?" Knowing that it was him, she asked seriously. Jun-soo, thinking he was worried that Soo Jeong would neglect her work because of love, quickly explained on her behalf. Team leader Kwon suddenly appeared and said the chairman was calling for the director, so he told Soo Jeong to meet him later when she got back. Through team leader Kwon and Joo-yeon's words, the chairman of Yongsung had taken notice of him and was preparing to appoint him as the next heir to the corporation. If Joo-yeon maintained his current attitude, he would obtain that inheritance for the company. Recalling everything from last weekend, as well as Soo Jeong saying she wouldn't love or marry him, he thought he had perhaps wasted time on useless things and decided that from now on he would become a cool and aloof CEO. As for Soo Jeong, her younger brother Jun-soo asked, "Aren't you home yet?" She said the director had called for her earlier. He was about to go home first, but Soo Jeong called him back and asked, "What do you think of a man who goes to a girl's house in the middle of the night to carefully warn her about bad guys, angrily asks why she doesn't see him as a man, and then gets drunk and kisses her, only to forget about it later?" Rue asked, "Are you asking about my situation or something? But I think he likes you but is just shy." Soo Jeong covered up by saying, "I'm just reading a novel and am stuck on a plot point, so I was just asking." Jun-soo said, "This trope is old. This is the kind of thing that happens when a male lead is too shy to confess because he's afraid of failing. It's an unwritten rule. I guess you share your experience when you have some." Hearing this, Soo Jeong felt more confident and went to Joo-yeon's office to ask, Are you annoyed that I'm going on a blind date? So that's why you called me here? But he was different now, acting cold and answering Su Jiang's question. I'm only concerned about my colleagues, so I'm reminding you. I would do the same for anyone. Don't get the wrong idea. Annoyed, Su Jiang went home and took a novel to Ju Yon's house to return it. She reminisced about how she would curse Ju Yon to his face, but when he actually came out, she didn't say a word. She returned the novel to him. 6,001 for a kiss. Here's another 6,001. There, consider it the fee for a kiss. That day, Ju Yon didn't understand what was happening. Su Jiang said angrily, those guys who read romantic comics all day. No wonder they get dumped by their first love. You're going to be single forever, single your whole life. But Ju Yon didn't want to take her money. I don't want to accept money from people who don't appreciate comics. You should also learn how to judge people. You're so bad at judging people. No wonder your first love scammed you. If I knew everything, I would probably slap myself and not think that's enough. Annoyed, Su Jiang returned to her car and called her sister. She said she wanted to go on a blind date, which made Ha Jin and Sin Won overjoyed. With the situation like this, they were both relieved about their younger siblings. Su Jiang returned to being an employee who hated her boss. But Ha Jin was curious as to why Sin Won kept helping out here. Last time, he even followed her to the market. He admitted that he just wanted to score points with Ha Jin. His main goal was to confess his love to her. Although Ha Jin refused, he said third time's a charm. She thought he was a cool guy, but unexpectedly he was a genuinely warm guy. She kind of likes him. She figures they could probably sleep together again. Yeah, but probably not a third time because that would make them like lovers, and she doesn't want that. She asked, Sin Won, what do you want? On his way home, Sin Won ran into his ex-girlfriend. She confessed that she wanted to get back together, explaining that she'd wanted to break up with him back then because she was too immature. Now, she'd changed and hoped Sin Won would give her another chance. For Sin Won, he'd never pressured her into anything, and once something was over with him, it was over. He ignored his ex-girlfriend and went home. The next day, Su Jiang went on a blind date with a lawyer. According to her sister, Ha Jin, this blind date seemed promising. He was tall, handsome, and had a parted hairstyle. He was also very articulate and sophisticated, and his financial situation was more than stable. When he asked Su Jiang if she wanted to eat lobster, it immediately reminded her of how Ju Yon had also been considerate and had plenty of money. Noticing her spaced-out expression, he assumed Su Jiang didn't like lobster, but she snapped out of it and said she actually loved it. As for Ju Yon, he picked up a pile of comics to read, remembering Su Jiang's words, if you keep reading stuff like this, no wonder you got dumped by your first love. You're destined to be single forever, eternally single. Remembering that Su Jiang was also on a blind date made it impossible for him to stay calm. The two were in such a cold war that even though there were 4 people in the company meeting, the 2 assistants felt chills down their spines. It wasn't until the meeting ended that the 2 assistants felt slightly less terrified. That evening, Ju Yon was leaving with the chairman when they happened to run into Su Jiang's blind date. The 2 men looked at each other, and then the chairman pulled Ju Yon into the car, and they drove off. Su Jiang felt a little guilty, but she had chosen to go on the blind date, so there wasn't anything she could do about it. For Ju Yon, the bad luck didn't stop there. At the party, Chairman Hyosian announced that she wasn't yet considering Ju Yon as the true heir. She might have to hire an outside director, or at least find someone who could genuinely take care of Yongsung Group as well as she had. Of course, she acknowledged that Ju Yon had been doing very well, and she was planning to introduce Ju Yon to the media soon, presenting him as her direct grandson. Meanwhile, Jai-gu and Su Jiang were walking and talking together in the shopping mall, looking like a real dating couple. Jai-gu was curious why someone as talented as Su Jiang didn't have a boyfriend, or if it was because her standards were too high. She said she'd rather stay single than settle for the wrong person. But you, Jai-gu, are admirable. I bet you have a lot of people chasing after you. Jai-gu admitted that he had always been waiting for someone like Su Jiang. Hearing this made her feel like it was too cheesy. Jai-gu said, that's why I'm still single. Since we're here anyway, can you help me with some shopping? I'm planning to buy some new clothes. At the bar where Ju Yon often went to relieve stress, He suddenly felt that these things didn't excite him as much as they used to, but were actually boring. He remembered how happy he was when Soo-jeong was by his side, and he realized that he was only really happy when Soo-jeong was around. He also remembered when he kissed Soo-jeong. As a result, Joo-yeon went to the shopping mall and dragged her away. After pulling Soo-jeong into a dressing room, Joo-yeon admitted that he'd come to see her on impulse because he was going crazy. The kiss that evening had been his first kiss. He had remembered everything, and that kiss wasn't something meaningless. While they were being affectionate, a store employee outside was trying hard to open the door. In an emergency situation where they couldn't afford to be discovered, Soo-jeong told Joo-yeon to stay put in the room and she would deal with the situation. She stalled, saying, "Jae-goo's current outfit isn't very good," and pulled him and the employee away, making it easier for Joo-yeon to escape. Fortunately, Joo-yeon managed to get out of the dressing room in time. After his date with Jae-goo, he asked Soo-jeong when she would be free next. She immediately said it might be difficult for them to meet next time. Just then, Joo-yeon came to the rescue, claiming the company needed her for something and asked Soo-jeong to leave with him. Once in the courtyard, Joo-yeon casually recalled Soo-jeong's words to him, "Just like me naturally," causing the CEO to smile to himself. Soo-jeong approached and asked, "Why do you keep acting on your own? Don't you know how awkward that makes me?" Joo-yeon said he didn't feel guilty towards that man, but he apologized to Soo-jeong for not remembering kissing her that day. Even so, receiving an apology made Soo-jeong feel better. "I'll pretend that day never happened." Seeing her being so decisive, Joo-yeon said, "I think you're misunderstanding something. I'm only apologizing today for not remembering the kiss that day, and it wasn't a mistake. I didn't kiss you for no reason that night. I did it of my own accord." Not knowing how to escape, thankfully, Ha-jin called. Soo-jeong said she was busy and would talk to her another time. Thinking Soo-jeong was shy because he was handsome, Joo-yeon complimented himself, "It's a waste not to be shy with this handsome face. She must be mesmerized by my beauty," followed by a sly laugh. Back at the cafe, Ha-jin, seeing her sister sweating, asked, "Did you just come back from a hot date? Are you going to see that guy again?" Seeing her sister refuse, she asked, "Didn't go well?" But Soo-jeong actually thought it went well. Although she hated younger men and their strange fashion sense, Ha-jin was asking about the blind date, Jae-goo, not Joo-yeon, who was all she could think about right now. As for Joo-yeon, after returning home, he was still imagining that Soo-jeong was shy because he was wearing that cool outfit. Remembering the kiss only made him blame himself more. "Why did I forget that memorable thing?" He vowed not to touch rice wine again, fearing he might pin someone down and kiss them again. That night, Soo-jeong couldn't sleep because she kept thinking about that childish little red boy. "Does he want to date or something?" As soon as she said that little red boy texted, saying, "I won't be like that player in the 6001 Kiss story, so don't worry." Soo-jeong couldn't help but smile, then realized, "Why am I smiling?" She then uncomfortably covered herself with a blanket and whimpered. Seeing that Soo-jeong wasn't replying, thinking his internet was listening to Yong Da-il's Disconnect, he went around checking the Wi-Fi, only to find that everything was normal. Suddenly he thought, "I'll see her tomorrow anyway. Waiting is happiness, so I don't need to be impatient." At the fish market, Ha-jin's mother asked her, "Ha-jin already turned down that handsome guy from the blind date, didn't she?" She was annoyed that her daughter had passed up such a good catch. A good man who accepts women with flaws shouldn't be passed up. Instead, she hides away with some bum off the street. Ha-jin couldn't take it anymore and said, "I don't have any flaws. Just because I'm divorced doesn't mean I'm defective." In short, Ha-jin still felt fine being alone, so she hoped her mother wouldn't say that to anyone else, or they might get offended. Her mother then asked, "Who is it? There's only you, right? Or is it some guy?" Seeing her mother keep mentioning men, Ha-jin tattled to her father, "Mom is planning on flirting with someone new." Children are right, you're speechless. The next day at work, Joo-yeon was so eager to get an answer from Soo-jeong that he was practically walking on air, his spine seemingly gone as he craned his neck to see where she was. The team lead, Kwon, noticing his strange behavior, asked, "Are you looking for someone?" As soon as he went upstairs, Joo-yeon spotted her and was determined to talk to her immediately. However, Soo-jeong brushed him off, going to help a colleague and completely ignoring him. But fate had other plans, and Su Jiang found herself in the elevator with him again. Ju Yon was about to say something when she cleverly started asking about the 4 puppies of another colleague, leaving him dumbfounded and confused. Am I not even worth more than those dogs? Determined to avoid Ju Yon further, she ran into him again at lunchtime and quickly offered her lunch tray to a colleague, then left to eat outside. Ju Yon was puzzled as to why Su Jiang kept avoiding him. Back in the office, a colleague informed her that Ju Yon was trending as a top search term. He was being called a golden spoon, a person born into extreme wealth, making Su Jiang realize how could she ever be worthy of the future heir to the company. When she returned home, she found Ju Yon waiting for her outside. She tried to escape, but her path was blocked. Ju Yon was curious why she wanted to avoid him so much. You're friendly and kind to everyone else. Why are you only avoiding me? Ju Yon said that their kiss wasn't a mistake. He was about to confess his feelings, but Su Jiang cut him off. Maybe you've forgotten that this is the workplace, and that you're the heir. Would you dare hold my hand and boldly walk in front of everyone? Su Jiang used the excuse that she didn't want to get fired and asked Ju Yon to stop seeing her. He grabbed her, intending to say something, but reconsidered, realizing that Su Jiang might be right, so he let her go. Meanwhile, after getting off work, Sin Wan couldn't stop thinking about Ha Jin's rejection. Lost in thought, he got a call from his friend inviting him out for drinks. Somehow, after drinking, he ended up back at Ha Jin's bar. Every time he drank, Su Jiang would unconsciously go to Ha Jin's bar. Surely, it means that Su Jiang has fallen too deeply in love with her. After Ju Yon was rejected, he couldn't help but recall Su Jiang's words, "How can someone be so beautiful even when rejecting someone?" Suddenly, Sin Wan showed up to confide in him about his love troubles. Ju Yon was in no mood because he had just been dumped, so he told Sin Wan to get to the point and leave. He was annoyed. Can't I come here unless something's wrong? I'm heartbroken enough as it is. As a result, the two men ended up commiserating with each other about being rejected. Sin Wan said, "Actually, I just wanted somewhere to go, afraid that I wouldn't be able to stop myself from going to Ha Jin. My body automatically heads to Ha Jin like it's been programmed." The next day at work, Ju Yon coincidentally ran into Su Jiang again. He unintentionally overheard that she was going to a restaurant for a meal tomorrow. Out of jealousy, he asked, "Su Jiang, who are you going with tomorrow? One is a director, the other is an employee, and this matter is not part of work." So Su Jiang said that she didn't need to tell him. But how could Ju Yon ignore this? The young CEO acted like a stalker and went all the way to the restaurant. Su Jiang said that she saw her adjusting the clothes for a man, and he immediately rushed in and fought for jealousy. Unexpectedly, today Su Jiang's younger brother, Su Bin, introduced his lover to his family, causing Ju Yon to be embarrassed because he fought the wrong person out of jealousy. To relieve the embarrassment, he took the excuse that he also had a meeting here and it was also cancelled. I hope the family will allow him to treat the whole family to a meal to honor Su Jiang's achievements in the company. Seeing Ju Yon talking nonsense without blinking an eye, Su Jiang couldn't believe that a director was openly lying in front of his family. Suddenly, Su Bin received a message from his girlfriend. It seems that Jenna can't come today. Hearing that, Ju Yon began to relax and called the waiter, "Bring all the dishes here." A little suspicious of this director friend, Su Bin went outside and asked, "Does Ju Yon have any intentions with my sister? If you're just having a casual relationship for fun, be careful because this younger brother is not a pushover." Ju Yon said that he was sincere towards Su Jiang. At Chairman Hyosian's residence, the housekeeper reported that she had cleaned both the chairman's area and Ju Yon's, but there was one place Ju Yon wouldn't allow her to clean. The chairman, curious, asked about it and discovered it was Ju Yon's study. Immediately, she summoned Department Head Kwon. After an event, she was to go with her to Ju Yon's house to investigate what he was hiding there. She made sure to tell her not to tell the director, as this was a secret. But she didn't realize that Department Head Kwon was actually working for Ju Yon. Meanwhile, Su Jiang was interrogating him, asking why he kept following her. Ju Yon finally said he didn't want to see Su Jiang liking anyone else, so he was acting like that. Suddenly, Department Head Kwon called, informing Ju Yon that the chairman was coming to inspect his study. Ju-yeon panicked and tried to rush home, but Soo-jeong blocked him. At least tell me why the chairman's coming to your house that's got you so freaked out. In the past, items Ju-yeon liked were taken and burned by the chairman, which had become a psychological trauma for him. That's why he was in such a hurry. Soo-jeong advised, at least you should have some kind of plan. So Sin-won showed up to stall the chairman after the meeting, but couldn't hold her back for long. Then Ha-jin, also summoned by Soo-jeong, blocked the chairman's path as well. It could be said that every acquaintance was used to their full potential. Coincidentally, while Ha-jin was stalling, Sin-won saw her laughing and talking on the phone, which made him smile involuntarily. Seeing Sin-won, Ha-jin waved and greeted him cheerfully. She explained that Soo-jeong had asked her for a favor, which is why she was there. Soo-jeong had also mentioned she had been asked by Ju-yeon. She couldn't believe the two siblings they were trying to separate were so close. After saying that, Ha-jin said goodbye to Sin-won but still glanced back. Soo-jeong thought to herself, if you're so happy to see each other, at least get out of the car and talk to him. At Ju-yeon's house, he and Soo-jeong were frantically cleaning up when department head Kwon texted to say the chairman had arrived. Since there was no way to hide things, Ju-yeon came up with a plan. After he went down to meet the chairman, Ju-yeon pretended he was about to leave so the chairman wouldn't suspect anything and demand to go upstairs. As expected, the chairman immediately told Ju-yeon to stay for a moment, then he could leave. She asked him to take her to his study to inspect it. Reaching the desk and workspace, the chairman saw everything seemed normal, so why wouldn't he let the housekeeper touch it? Was he hiding something from her? The group looked around, expecting her to discover Ju-yeon's hidden room. Unexpectedly, a family photo caught the chairman's attention. It turned out that a few minutes earlier, he had taken out the family photo to intentionally draw the chairman's attention, because he knew how much she hated him after the accident he caused years ago involving his parents. The chairman thought he was hiding something, but it was just a family photo. He then said that if she knew he kept the photo, she wouldn't be happy because it would remind her that Ju-yeon was the one who caused the accident for his family that year, and he didn't deserve to mourn or be sad. But it's only because I miss my parents that I took that photo out to look at. Chairman Hyoseon scolded, "What right do you have to mourn my son? If you hadn't insisted on going out that day, my son would be here now, inheriting this company." With that, she grabbed the photo and smashed it on the floor, calling Ju-yeon weak. Luckily, his trick worked. Soo-jeong, who had heard everything inside, was shocked to learn Ju-yeon's circumstances were so pitiful. As they reached the car, the chairperson didn't forget to remind the department head, keep a close eye on Ju-yeon. The department head then asked if they needed additional personnel. The chairperson questioned, we already have an inside person here, who else would we need to plant? Unaware that department head Kwon was, in fact, a double agent. Meanwhile, Soo-jeong, after deciding to comfort Ju-yeon, recounted the entire incident from that year. He explained that because he only wanted to attend the comic book convention to indulge himself, the family had gotten into the accident. In order for Ju-yeon to survive, the two of them had embraced and shielded Ju-yeon, which allowed him to live until now. Therefore, he was now determined to make amends to his grandmother. But Ju-yeon himself still couldn't abandon his own personal joys. Standing before Soo-jeong, he recalled the time they were together at the fountain. She had said, "Just enjoy the things you like." That had truly made him happy. Soo-jeong only wanted him to be that way because she felt Ju-yeon was genuinely happy then. Ju-yeon then confessed his feelings to Soo-jeong. "For a while now, I've been hiding the things I like because they were secrets. But now, I like Soo-jeong so much that I can't hold back anymore." After returning home, Soo-jeong's father, noticing his daughter's weary and worn-out demeanor, inquired about her well-being, saying, "Are you really okay? Every time I see that forced smile, like you're trying to hide something from the family, I get even more worried. I'm sorry I can't be a pillar of support for you. I don't know what the right thing to do is, so I just put on a smile to get through it." Seeing her father like that, Soo-jeong felt a bit better and replied, "I'm fine, Dad. You should rest too." Back in her room, Soo-jeong couldn't think of anything other than her encounters with Ju-yeon and his confession from earlier. She decided to listen to her heart and ran to Ju-yeon's house to find him, unaware that he had already gone out alone. When she called, he didn't answer. Fortunately, she remembered him mentioning the fountain area, so she went there and found Ju-yeon. She approached him and asked, "Why did you rush here that day, Ju-yeon? Did you know that if you came here, all the secrets you've been hiding and protecting for so long would be exposed? You like me just for that one reason?" Seeing Ju-yeon nod, she asked if he wasn't afraid it would affect his position as heir, which he'd always wanted, and that their relationship would be revealed. Ju-yeon felt that as long as he had her by his side, everything would be okay. "As long as you like me, I'll take care of everything else." Soo-jeong decided that she would become his biggest secret, which also meant she was confessing her feelings to Ju-yeon. "I like you." Hearing these words, the little red devil inside him couldn't resist anymore, and his body moved on its own. What was destined to happen, happened. The two kissed passionately under the shimmering beauty of the scene, as if directed by a director. After the confession, Ju-yeon walked Soo-jeong home, his face radiating love as he said goodbye. Soo-jeong suddenly remembered something she needed to ask, but talking in front of her house felt a bit awkward. Ju-yeon suggested they take a stroll so they could talk more freely. She asked him about all the stuff he'd moved to her place. Where should she put it? Should she rent a separate room to store it neatly? If you rented a place and the lease was in Ju-yeon's name, there's a chance the chairman would find out, so that wouldn't be ideal. He said, "How about we just leave it at Soo-jeong's house? That way, I'll have an excuse to come see you whenever I want." Seeing Ju-yeon fiddling with her hand, Soo-jeong decided to reach out and hold the young whippersnapper's hand to put him at ease. "If you're shy, then I won't be." Back at her place, Ju-yeon said he had something he wanted to ask. So, the two of them held hands and took another lap around the block. Ju-yeon asked if she knew Ha-jin back in the day. Soo-jeong then told him that they used to know each other through a game. Before he could find out the name of the game, a jogger ran past, making the two of them cringe with embarrassment. Soo-jeong was about to ask something else when someone sped by on a scooter, causing her to push him into the wall. For some reason, even a passing cat made Soo-jeong want to run and hide. Secrets really need to be kept from animals, apparently. Ju-yeon finally asked, "Do you really have to make such a big deal out of it?" Soo-jeong immediately said, "There are 100,000 employees at the company. The headquarters alone has 8,000 people, so how can I not be careful, even with cats?" It sounded a bit unreasonable, but somehow, it was also very convincing, and Ju-yeon was won over by her logic. When they got back to her place, they said goodbye, but Soo-jeong didn't understand what that weird hand gesture Ju-yeon was doing was. For Ju-yeon, it was his way of signaling, "I love you." Miss Soo-jeong must feel a lot of pressure loving this childish guy. Back at home, Ju-yeon texted her to tell her what that gesture meant, and he even sent it again. These two just keep trying to one-up each other, and the viewers love it. Ju-yeon busted out some dance moves and was all full of himself. "I really have a talent for driving people crazy." At Ha-jin's bar, she had a customer confess his feelings and ask for her number. The customer in front of her was none other than an investment director, Lee Hong-gun. But for someone who doesn't want to get involved in love after a breakup, Ha-jin quickly declined. "I'm afraid that's not going to happen, buddy. I don't find anything about you attractive." The director, feeling a bit offended, took his business card back. The next day, at a wedding reception, Sin-won had just finished writing a congratulatory card when he noticed that Ha-jin had dropped a new post. He immediately unfollowed her, thinking he would never see her again. But, coincidentally, Ha-jin was also there to celebrate her friend's wedding. Sin-won went up to the rooftop and immediately spotted her eating candy. Ha-jin didn't hesitate to invite him to sit with her and eat candy together. Sin-won wondered if she was up there because her friends were pressuring her to get married or something. She said, "Who would say something like that to someone who just got divorced?" Ha-jin's own love life wasn't exactly perfect, as she thought her 10-year boyfriend was the love of her life, but only half a year after they got married, he cheated on her, causing Ha-jin to lose faith in love. Hearing that, Sin-won immediately said that he hated people like that, because he's always been sincere about love. Ha-jin remembered the times Sin-won came to her bar to help out, or how he always came to her bar when he was drunk. Ha-jin couldn't help but ask, "Do you want to sleep with me?" She'd said it before at the bar, "If we sleep together again, it's no different than being friends with benefits." Sin-won didn't want that. Ha-jin then kissed him, and Sin-won didn't reject it. She immediately asked, If you don't want to sleep with me, why did you kiss me? Sin-won replied. Because I like you. I don't want us to just be friends with benefits. Ha-jin seriously said, you're going to have to date me. Not to mention, you have to follow me back on Instagram. Of course, Sin-won wanted to, because he liked her a lot. At Soo-jeong's house, her CEO boyfriend struck a cool pose to greet his sweetheart on a new day. As they were getting affectionate, Soo-jeong's dad came out and asked, what brings the director here today? Soo-jeong quickly covered. Joo-yeon needed to find some documents, so he came over to our house to look. He assumed they were dating, but her dad just thought he was a coworker like his daughter. He told them both to go inside and look together. It was his first time in his girlfriend's room, and everything was simpler than he expected, which surprised him. But instead of looking for the documents, they just stood there giggling until Soo-jeong's dad interrupted them. Then they finally started looking for the key to the storage room. Seeing her things untouched, Joo-yeon picked up a stuffed bear and said to himself, you must be so lonely here. After getting past her dad, Joo-yeon went downstairs and noticed something was off. Seeing nails hammered into the door leading to the attic, he asked Soo-jeong about it, but she dodged the question. Dad's cutting fruit, let's go eat. If he knew those nails were there because Soo-jeong was annoyed and almost fell, he'd probably run away. Suddenly, her younger brother, Soo-bin, arrived. Needing to use the restroom urgently, he rushed inside only to find Joo-yeon already there. Being desperate to go, seeing Joo-yeon probably made it easier for him to relieve himself. Not stopping there, thinking Joo-yeon came to seduce a girl from a respectable family, Soo-bin gave Joo-yeon a disgusted look, as if he wanted to devour him. Why are you here marking your territory? Soo-jeong was about to act out her usual habit, but she remembered her future husband was there. If she let him see she liked to hit people, he might run away. She could only temporarily spare her brother. Why don't you take care of business at your place instead of coming home? Seeing the situation was a bit tense, Joo-yeon excused himself and left. Little did the two of them know that their secret dating hadn't fooled Soo-bin at all. No one comes to someone's house to find documents and goes straight to their room. It's okay with Dad and me. But what if people at the company find out? I am worried that Joo-yeon's family will find out and cause chaos. Soo-bin was worried that Joo-yeon's family would hear about it and cause a ruckus sooner or later. Are you planning to beg them? Seeing her brother worrying too much, Soo-jeong told him to focus on his studies and his own love life. Even if something happens, it's your problem. But her younger brother just didn't want his sister to be hurt. He's usually a troublemaker, but it wasn't a waste of time playing games for him that year, since he's so worried. Soo-bin went to the door and thought to himself, I'm such a great brother. He is just like my future brother-in-law. After returning, Joo-yeon immediately went to stand in line to buy sweets. Team leader Kwon said it was a popular place and difficult to buy from. But she knew Joo-yeon would need them, so she had already pre-ordered a portion. Back at the company office, Joo-yeon had been wondering about something for a long time and asked team leader Kwon, you've been loyal to the chairman for 20 years, so why did you tell me that she was coming to my house that day? I'm curious why you would go against the chairman's wishes. The team leader replied, I just didn't want the chairman's next schedule to be affected, so I did it. But in the end, the schedule still had problems and got delayed. She also hoped that the successor of Young-sung would be someone who understood the chairman the most, because the team leader had never seen anyone as similar to her as Joo-yeon. And she hoped Joo-yeon wouldn't disappoint the chairman like that again. The cake that Joo-yeon went to buy earlier turned out to be a negotiation gift for the daughter of the branch manager of the Asian branch of Etet. As for Sin-won and Ha-jin, he wondered why Ha-jin had so easily accepted his confession. She said she liked straightforwardness and efficiency, without unnecessary details. She liked Sin-won, and he liked her, so she agreed. So now both the two brothers and the two sisters all have lovers. The next day, before heading to the office, Joo-yeon called Soo-jeong to remind her to keep their relationship a secret when they got to work. I'm also pretty good at keeping my mouth shut, he assured her. But, as fate would have it, as soon as they arrived at the office, they waved to each other like they hadn't seen each other in a year. So much for the secret. They were even about to hold hands in the elevator when a colleague almost caught them. It turned out Assistant Young had come back to ask Soo-jeong about her blind date from before. She told him that it was over between them. but this made her boyfriend Hong Hee Nhi sulk. Not only that, Assistant Yang also said that Su Jiang seemed to suit older men better, someone who's understanding and gentle, that would be a better match for her, and that overly successful man wouldn't do. That the man should be focused on supporting Su Jiang. Being too focused on his own ambition and success would just be exhausting. Ju Yon was eavesdropping and felt every word of Assistant Yang's was directly targeting him. It didn't stop there. The assistant even brought up that player from 6001 a kiss. Stay away from those guys, they're the worst kind of men. Ju Yon was so furious that he was ready to jump him and shut his mouth. As a result, Assistant Yang disappeared shortly after. Ju Yon had him disposed of, and shredding documents now. Serves him right for running his mouth so much. The assistant whined about being given so much paperwork by the director. But Ju Yon ignored him, turning back and then doing a complete 360. He didn't care that Assistant Yang looked miserable. That was his problem. He better learn his lesson. While working, Ju Yon didn't miss the chance to see Su Jiang and be all lovey-dovey like a pair of lovebirds. When the assistant came out, Su Jiang immediately snapped, "Director," making everyone flinch. The assistant didn't dare approach, afraid of getting caught in the crossfire again. Seeing Su Jiang scold Ju Yon like that, Assistant Yang asked, "Are you planning to become the Director-Destroyer again? Earlier, I didn't know how to shred the documents, and I was trapped in there all morning. I was so frustrated." During their break, Su Jiang grabbed Ju Yon's sleeve and apologized for being a little too harsh with him earlier. "My sweetie," but they were interrupted by a colleague. Su Jiang made him act angry at her, but Ju Yon couldn't bring himself to do it. So Su Jiang had to play the Director-Destroyer, which made Ju Yon a little sulky because he was being scolded. "You really improvise quickly, way too quickly. How are you so good at getting angry? Does looking at me make you want to get mad or something? Am I not your type? Or am I not the kind of guy who can just stay at home and do housework?" Right, this guy was still bitter from earlier, and now he was being scolded again. Hong Hee Nhi also knew how to feel hurt, how to sulk. Su Jiang then told him her first love was younger than her, so she didn't want to date someone younger again. If she knew Ju Yon was Black Flame Dragon, she'd probably have a heart attack. She asked Ju Yon what he wanted so he would stop being mad at her. "Let's play games together? Or will you buy me milk, but you can't ask for a kiss?" But Ju Yon didn't want any of those things. He said he'd tell her when he thought of something, and then he kissed Su Jiang sneakily, saying, "It's not like I need a reason to ask for a kiss, right?" Su Jiang was surprised that he was so bold. It turned out what he wanted was for her to remember the names of the characters he liked instead of Assistant Yang's dogs. After going home, Ha Jin invited her to a fancy dinner, which made Su Jiang a little curious. "What's the occasion that you're being so generous today?" Of course, Ha Jin wanted to introduce her boyfriend to Su Jiang. When she asked, Ha Jin said, "You know him." That person was none other than the head of the design department, Kim Sin-won. Hearing that name, Su Jiang was shocked and badmouthed him. He's a total player. Seeing the two being so affectionate, Su Jiang texted Sin-won, "You're not allowed to cheat." But Ha Jin stood up for him. Sin-won is very decisive in relationships. Once it's over, it's clear and straightforward. "What about you? How are things between you and the director?" Su Jiang immediately hid the truth and said, "We're just normal." "Nothing's happening." Su Jiang cut in and said, "Ju Yon doesn't like Su Jiang. His type is a cute, affectionate, gentle, well-behaved, and understanding girl. His temper is very unpredictable." Su Jiang was a little sulky after hearing that and stopped eating. No sooner had Su Jiang gotten home than Ju Yon called. He asked if she wanted to go somewhere for a date. Su Jiang wasn't a fan of crowded places, so she told him to pick somewhere a little more secluded. The next evening, Ju Yon was getting ready and almost went with a flashy, streetwear type of outfit. But ultimately, afraid of being called a try-hard, he decided on a suit for his date with Su Jiang. She knew he'd probably dress like that, so she'd already bought him an outfit and made him change. As a result, they ended up taking a walk in a quiet park, just like Su Jiang wanted. He said, "Your taste is pretty unique, choosing a dark, secluded place like this for a date. Are you afraid someone will see us together in a crowded place?" In reality, she just wanted to be in a private spot, so she could comfortably hold Ju-yeon's hand while they walked. Afterwards, they sat together, listening to music and watching the river. The next day, while Ju-yeon was looking at the photos from the night before and smiling to himself, Sin-won caught him and asked, "Since when do you have a girlfriend?" He tried to play it cool, but Sin-won said, "Relax, man, I'm rooting for you." He ended up falling for Sin-won's trap. "Who managed to steal my little brother's heart of stone? Is she pretty?" "Probably not," Ju-yeon retorted. "She's the most beautiful woman on the planet, a 5-star masterpiece." He even threw in a little self-praise for having such a gorgeous girlfriend. Seeing this, Sin-won was reminded of Ju-yeon's dark past from years ago. "This isn't good," he immediately asked. "Is it Chief Soo-jeong?" Ju-yeon dodged the question with a "no way." But he couldn't fool Sin-won. The following day, at Ju-yeon's office, he asked Soo-jeong when she started liking him so much. "You used to hate me?" Ju-yeon just wanted to know so he could love her more, but also partly out of curiosity. So, Soo-jeong told him. Ju-yeon even wanted to record the conversation so he'd have something to tell their grandkids later. They were having such a great time together. That evening, when Soo-jeong went up to the storage room that Ju-yeon had asked her to search, she found a black dragon model. There was also a package addressed to Black Flame Dragon. Ju-yeon was in trouble this time. As soon as he got home, Soo-jeong was standing at the door. After discovering the necklace that Ju-yeon used to confess his feelings to her years ago, Soo-jeong went straight to him to ask about it. Ju-yeon said he used it to give to his first love, but now everything has ended, and there's nothing between them. Soo-jeong had confirmed that the little red Riding Hood in front of her was Black Flame Dragon. Hearing this, Ju-yeon suddenly realized that the person in front of him was the strawberry girl he had dated that year. He hadn't recognized her before. Soo-jeong gave the stuff back to Ju-yeon and returned home. From a young age, Soo-jeong had always been unlucky. When she was drunk with friends, she wasn't defended. When her mother passed away, she had no one to rely on. Until the first person appeared who made Soo-jeong want to lean on. When they met, she changed her mind. "I can't rely on such a childish person." But now she's tangled with him again. It really is a case of star-crossed lovers. As for Ju-yeon, he was even more out of it. When he was discussing work with Chief Kwon, he just zoned out like a zombie. While she was gone, Ju-yeon took the opportunity to remember his memories with Soo-jeong. His girlfriend, who he'd been secretly admiring for so long, was the person who had hurt him the most that year. Ju-yeon didn't know what to do. The next day, Soo-jeong went to see her sister to talk, thinking that her sister and that director were just having a normal argument. She didn't think Soo-jeong said, "I know Ju-yeon is Black Flame Dragon." Ha-jin was shocked. And not only was she shocked, but Sin-won was about to be shocked. While he was taking his younger brother on the road to relieve his sorrows, Ju-yeon said, "I'm not in the mood. You'll take me to your lover's restaurant to meet my first love." Ju-yeon asked if that person was Soo-jeong or not. Sin-won was also surprised like Ha-jin just now. He swerved to the side of the road and asked, "You already knew? Or shouldn't we go there again?" "So, Soo-jeong," Ha-jin asked, "are you okay?" "I'm fine, just peaky. Why on earth am I dating Black Flame Dragon? Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "I tried to warn you, but someone just had to jump in head first." Right now, Soo-jeong didn't know what to do, because the person she loved was Ju-yeon, and Ju-yeon was the Black Flame Dragon she hated. So, should she love him or hate him? After talking for a while, Sin-won brought his immature buddy over to meet Soo-jeong. Ju-yeon really wanted to see his strawberry girlfriend. After asking around, Soo-jeong learned that both couples in front of her had tried to prevent their younger siblings from dating each other, but somehow ended up falling for each other themselves. Feeling like a joke, Soo-jeong started to leave, but 3 hands grabbed her. "Well, what's done is done, so you two should sit down and talk it out. We'll go out to greet the guests and do the dishes." But there wasn't a single guest. Still, Soo-jeong didn't want to stay inside, so she asked Ju-yeon to go outside and talk. She asked him, "Can you still like me? Even knowing who I am, do you still like me?" Hearing her say that, Ju-yeon immediately asked, "Can't we continue? How can you decide something like that so easily?" No matter what he said, Soo-jeong didn't want to listen right now. She suggested that they let go of each other's hands, as it would be better for both of them. Back at Ha Jin's shop, Sin Won wondered how the young couple was doing. Ju Yeon wanted to continue, but Soo Jeong didn't. Had something in the past hurt Soo Jeong even more? It's true that whoever loves more loses. Ju Yeon couldn't help but miss his girlfriend and looked back at their text messages and memories. Even seeing her at the company, though they were standing so close, the distance felt like 1,000 miles. Ju Yeon couldn't stand this anymore, so he called her to meet him in the director's office. At first, they just discussed work. Ju Yeon wanted her to participate in a reconstruction project. Soo Jeong didn't want to waste words on someone who had lied to her, so she was about to leave. But Ju Yeon wasn't finished speaking. He decided he couldn't hold back anymore and closed the door. He asked why Soo Jeong could make such a clear-cut decision. Why did they have to break up? The reason was simple. He had said his first love was terrible. Soo Jeong didn't want to remember those memories, so she wanted to break up. If you don't want to remember, why continue to meet? Ju Yeon approached her and apologized. He hoped Soo Jeong would give him a chance, but it seemed quite difficult. Soo Jeong started to leave like she did that year, which made the immature buddy unable to hold back anymore. You're doing it again like that year. You said you liked me, then you left alone like everything you said was a lie. Annoyed, she retorted, if you couldn't forget the heartache I caused, if my feelings for you were just a fake joke, that would be great. I wouldn't have to feel hurt every time I remembered those memories. I really liked you and saw you as someone to lean on, but unfortunately, you're just an immature kid who likes Big Bang. How could I lean on someone who hasn't grown up yet? Soo Jeong also went back to see Ha Jin and told her that they had broken up. I'm going to be so lonely. After meeting Black Flame Dragon, I realized how lonely and desperate I was, so much that I didn't realize he was a child. Seeing her sister feeling down, Ha Jin didn't know what to do other than watch her. As for Ju Yeon, he also asked his brother in a daze, have you ever had your heart broken? Oh, I forgot. You're a player. I wonder how you can repeat this pain so many times. Why does a breakup end just because one person says it's over? This Ban Ju Yeon has only been dumped once. I'll protest and fight to the end. Ah, no, I'm not qualified. I don't know how much I disappointed her. Soo Jeong must have felt really hurt thinking she was being lied to. I never thought the person who hurt her the most would be me. He didn't want to do anything anymore. Ju Yeon just wanted to be alone, agonizing over his own perceived sins. But neither of them knew that the incident of Ju Yeon having a meal with Soo Jeong's family had been posted online. This scandal quickly spread across social media because of Ju Yeon's immense influence. He was, after all, the heir to the Dong Corporation. Department head Kwon immediately asked Ju Yeon why he had met with Soo Jeong's family. He said he had simply invited them for a meal. Department head, please try to quell this situation as soon as possible. Now, the rumor mill was churning throughout the company, with everyone speculating that Soo Jeong would marry the director, causing Soo Jeong to retort in annoyance, aren't directors and department heads here supposed to be focused on work? But why does the competence of our department heads resemble that of quacks? Truly disappointing. Apparently, they've all forgotten Soo Jeong's nickname, the Director Destroyer. When she returned to her desk, her friend Na couldn't stop crying, shocked that the people in the company could be so venomous. Why would a department head need to be stuck in office hell with a director? Everyone knows this company loves to fabricate stories and exaggerate everything. This matter also reached the chairman's ears. She summoned Ju Yeon and reminded him, as the heir to the corporation, you should be aware that many investors are paying attention. If a trivial matter like this can cause such a stir, imagine how much more uproar there will be with even more absurd matters. Conveniently, she wanted to fire Soo Jeong altogether. Fortunately, Ju Yeon had already involved her in a restructuring project. Ju Yeon argued that if they fired her now, the restructuring project could face difficulties because they wouldn't be able to immediately find someone to replace her. The chairman could only warn, if Soo Jeong causes trouble again, I will personally intervene. She also asked department head Kwon, you knew about the meal between Ju Yeon and that department head's family, didn't you? Department head Kwon immediately apologized, explaining that she had only thought it was a meal between colleagues. The chairman then held her responsible for knowing about the matter but not reporting it to protect Soo Jeong. Ju Yeon decided to put on a cold front, becoming the serious CEO. He immediately planned with department head Kwon and said he would handle everything coming up as quickly as possible. When he met Soo Jeong, he acted as if they were strangers when she asked, "Did I cause any misunderstanding between you and the chairman?" "But this is not something you need to worry about because it's not Soo Jeong's concern," he also warned. "From now on, we should keep our distance to avoid similar personal matters from happening. Everything is back where it belongs." Hearing these words, Soo Jeong was lost in thought for the entire way home. Even though it was raining, she remembered to buy an umbrella but forgot to use it on her way back. All Soo Jeong could think about were memories of her and the person she loved, doing silly things together, but now they couldn't be close anymore. When she arrived home, Soo Jeong's father was surprised to see his daughter soaked from the rain and looking so pitiful. Her younger brother, Soo Bin, seeing his sister like that, assumed she was being bullied and volunteered to confront that baby-faced jerk. "I knew he wasn't a good person." Soo Jeong said that she was the one who initiated the breakup, but she didn't expect it to be so difficult. Gradually, the two became like strangers, even at the company, creating a chilly atmosphere. Seeing this, their colleague Jun Soo stepped up and said, "The company scandal will probably die down soon. You two seem even more distant than before." Day after day, even when they passed each other, it was just a fleeting encounter. Soo Jeong always gazed at the person she had rejected. Ju Yeon now only focused on work. He seemed like a completely different person. Seeing him dozing off, Soo Jeong instinctively reached out to support him. She then wondered if Ju Yeon felt comfortable returning to his previous position. One day, Soo Jeong arrived at the office but couldn't find Ju Yeon anywhere. His younger brother, Jun Soo, told her that the director wasn't active on social media either, as he urgently needed to review some documents. Coincidentally, Chief Kwon passed by, so she approached and asked him. The chief revealed to Soo Jeong that the director was sick today and had stayed home. "I wonder how sick he is. He works day and night. I can't even guess how the chairman will deal with the director." Hearing this, Soo Jeong went to the restroom and wondered why she was so worried about that person. They had clearly broken up, and he was an adult. He should know how to take care of himself. But remembering him telling her, "Just do what you like," Soo Jeong immediately went to the pharmacy and bought everything in the store. Then, she quickly went to see Ju Yeon to visit him. However, Chief Kwon had already called and reported this to the chairman. After meeting Ju Yeon, she apologized to him for only thinking about how he had hurt her in the past, forgetting that she had also caused him similar pain. She was now afraid of hurting Ju Yeon again, but she wanted to become his biggest secret. As she was about to leave, Ju Yeon pulled her back and told Soo Jeong not to go. Ju Yeon told her not to hate herself because she was already his biggest and most wonderful secret, as she was also Ju Yeon's first love. The two of them kissed as if there had never been a breakup. The shortest breakup I've ever witnessed. After they kissed, Ju Yeon couldn't help but compliment Soo Jeong, saying she was like an angel. He was still as immature as he was back then, making Soo Jeong a little embarrassed when she thought about the past. But she had been there for a while, so Soo Jeong excused herself to go home. They hugged each other, reminding each other to be careful. But for some crazy reason, Ju Yeon wouldn't let her leave and pulled Soo Jeong back for another kiss. As a result, the two of them unknowingly fell asleep together. Soo Jeong had no idea what force had caused them to lie there, embracing each other as if nothing was happening. Late at night, Soo Jeong tiptoed home, afraid that her father would find out. But she couldn't escape him. He worriedly asked, "Where did you sleep out?" But Soo Jeong immediately denied it. But Soo Jeong couldn't fool her father. He said, "Don't sleep out like that next time." But it's hard to keep the eldest daughter in the house. The more we forbid something, the more she does it. The next day, the chief secretary called Ju Yeon to inform him of something. "Starting today, you will be fired." The chairman had found out about their relationship because she had people following them. Chief Kwon couldn't hide it for them anymore because the evidence was clear. But Chief Kwon had nothing to argue. She knew this day would come, so she had already submitted her resignation. It turned out that the night before, when Soo Jeong arrived at the director's house, she reported that no one had come to visit. The chief also thanked the chairman for helping her so much over the past time. The moment Soo Jeong arrived at the office, she overheard everyone gossiping about the director being fired ahead of the reconstruction project. She immediately went to find Ju Yeon to get the story straight, but she ran into Chief Kwon instead. Seeing her in such a hurry, the chief asked, "I suppose Soo Jeong isn't going to hide this secret relationship anymore, is she? The chairwoman knows everything anyway. She even knows what time you come and go from the director's house." Noticing Chief Kwon carrying a box, Soo Jeong wondered what was going on. The chief explained that she'd already resigned. From now on, she wouldn't be able to cover for them anymore. She also asked Soo Jeong to take care of Ju Yeon in her absence. Hearing this, Soo Jeong immediately called Ju Yeon, but he was busy at the chairwoman's house. He'd gone to plead with the chairwoman to let him keep his job, promising he wouldn't let personal feelings affect his work or the company. But her mind was made up. She'd given Ju Yeon a chance before, and this time she wouldn't be so forgiving. Even when Ju Yeon knelt and begged her as a nephew, the chairwoman wouldn't soften, as she thought he could be like a copy of her son. "But you're just a flawed product compared to my son." After hearing this, Ju Yeon was devastated, unable to find the motivation to do anything. Remembering his promise to become a clone of his father, but being rejected by the chairwoman, Ju Yeon felt like the whole world was against him. As for Soo Jeong, after seeing her boyfriend like that, all she could do was text him, checking in to see how he was doing. Ju Yeon didn't want his personal feelings to affect his girlfriend, so he texted back, "I'm fine." But Soo Jeong knew he wasn't okay. She went to see Ju Yeon and said, "You can tell the chairwoman that we broke up if you want. I really don't care." The real issue wasn't whether they were dating. Ju Yeon said, "We don't need to deny our relationship. Now I can date anywhere without worrying about what people say, even holding hands like this." Soo Jeong suggested, "From now on, let's do things that you've never done before." The next day, Ju Yeon went to see Chief Kwon to ask why she had always covered for him. The chief told her story. "In the past, when I saw the chairwoman lose her son, but still remain strong without letting her emotions affect everything around her, I thought I could trust her and follow her." Ju Yeon exhibits these qualities in exactly the same way as the chairwoman. Chief Kwon thought you were the image of the heir the chairwoman wanted. She didn't want anything to affect you, so that's why she covered for Ju Yeon for so long. She thought Ju Yeon would become a good heir if he was also with the person he loved. After hearing these words, Ju Yeon was truly grateful to have had such a good colleague by his side. Meanwhile, at the company, Soo Jeong wondered about Ju Yeon being unemployed now. She invited him to her house to hang out with her younger brother, Soo Bin. "It'll be fun." It really was fun. After her younger brother heard the news that Ju Yeon was currently unemployed, he said that Ju Yeon had become a freeloader just like him. Ju Yeon started to deny it, but his brother Soo Bin interrupted him. "If you weren't unemployed, why would you be at home waiting for my sister and me? But I'm curious, what is it about my sister that makes you so infatuated?" Seeing Ju Yeon complimenting his sister as beautiful and talented, her brother said, "If you tell me more, I'm going to throw up." "It's true that only siblings find it disgusting when someone else compliments their siblings," Soo Bin remarked. "Just a while ago you were crying because of the breakup, and now you're both immersed in love." Hearing that Soo Jeong cried, he asked more and learned that back then, when Soo Jeong broke up with that guy named Dark Dragon, she cried even harder. Soo Bin said, "If I knew who that guy was, I'd cut him into pieces and put him in the freezer." Ju Yeon felt truly guilty. Back at home, Ju Yeon, being unemployed, asked if he could help his girlfriend's father. Looking at this cherished prospective son-in-law, the father wasn't too confident in his abilities. But seeing Ju Yeon's enthusiasm, he agreed to let him tag along to the job site. Today's task was checking and installing door handles. Ju Yeon immediately volunteered. "Let me do it." Although a bit skeptical, given that this guy had been a director, the father hesitantly let Ju Yeon take the door handle. Ju Yeon had boasted about knowing how to do many things, but even removing the door handle proved difficult, requiring guidance from Soo Bin, his girlfriend's younger brother. Seeing this, the father felt both sympathetic and amused. He really thought that this prospective son-in-law was a good guy. At the company, Soo Jeong had been texting her red-haired kid for half the day without a response. Just as she was wondering why, her younger brother sent her a picture of Ju Yeon using Ju Yeon's own phone, saying, "Your husband's practicing to be a maintenance worker." Meanwhile, the chairman's secretary, Dong Rai, worriedly said, "If you fire Ju Yeon right now, there might be no one who can replace him." But the chairman, irritated, retorted, "Call Park Chan from the trade division in here." After working to thank his son-in-law, who barely managed to do anything, Soo Jeong's father invited him to stay for dinner. Ju Yeon excitedly offered, "How about I cook tonight? I know how to cook anything." The father and younger sister were skeptical, wondering if he'd be as useless as he was with the door handles. Fortunately, Ju Yeon had learned to cook from a young age, and his skills were quite impressive. "If you know how to cook like this, I guess I can give my daughter to you." The younger brother, Soo Bin, asked his father, "Does this mean he's met the qualifications to be your son-in-law?" Although still a bit doubtful, Ju Yeon promised, "I won't hurt your daughter. I'll do my best to ensure you have no worries." As a result, when Soo Jeong returned home, the first thing she saw was her future husband cooking for those two inanimate beings. Moreover, both her father and brother were calling Ju Yeon son-in-law and brother-in-law, leaving her even more shocked. Her boss only took a half day off, and he is already her husband now. Seeing the couple getting cozy in front of their parents, the father and son eagerly chimed in, acknowledging Ju Yeon as a member of the family. "Get married soon so we can have a feast." The younger brother also expressed, "It's been a long time since I've had a home-cooked meal and talked with family like this, not since our parents passed away." Hearing this, Soo Bin said, "Brother-in-law has had it so rough." Her father added, "How about Ju Yeon stay here tonight, have a drink with me, and then sleep with me?" The younger brother eagerly suggested sleeping with him instead, saying it would be more fun. Sleeping with their dad meant enduring his chainsaw-like snoring. Then Soo Jeong suggested, "Sleep in my room," and both men shouted that it was forbidden. She only meant that Soo Jeong sleep in her room and Ju Yeon in the living room, not that the two would sleep together. As a result, after drinking, the three men all slept together in the living room for the closeness. But as they were getting ready to sleep, Soo Jeong couldn't resist inviting Ju Yeon into her room. She had hidden the carton of milk to prevent her brother from drinking it, and offered it to Ju Yeon. Seeing her thoughtfulness, he couldn't help but exclaim, "You only think of me, ignoring your own family, huh? I think the only person who can knock me out with alcohol is Soo Jeong." So the two of them spent the whole night talking and reminiscing about old memories. The next day, as Soo Jeong was getting ready to go to work, Ju Yeon quickly stopped her for a moment. He promised that, from now on, he wouldn't make her cry for a third time. 2 breakups, and knowing how much she cried, was already enough. At home, things were happy. But when Soo Jeong arrived at the company, everyone received an announcement about a personnel change. Soo Jeong had been demoted to the lowest-ranking manual labor position in the company. Everyone was wondering why she had to work in the technical area. Clearly, that scandal was fabricated news. But Soo Jeong didn't hide anything and admitted that she was dating the director. She also apologized to everyone for having affected their work over the past few weeks. Moreover, when Soo Jeong arrived to take her post in the maintenance department, the two people already there gossiped and badmouthed her directly in front of her, without any hesitation. Suddenly, the alarm system went haywire, blaring an error message. The technical team immediately called the monitoring and supervision department, but no one answered. Seizing the opportunity to prove that she wasn't as unpleasant or useless as people seemed to think, Soo Jeong volunteered to fix the equipment. Although many were skeptical, Soo Jeong declared, "I have degrees in electrical engineering and fire safety," so, despite everyone's doubts, she successfully restored power and cleared the error notification, leaving everyone astonished. She even offered, "If you have any other tasks, feel free to assign them to me." As a result, when she went to the staff room to fix a table, the head of the sales department spotted her and immediately called her out, annoyed by her seemingly fearless attitude. "Where do you think you are? Do you know how much I had to endure and sacrifice to get to this position?" he said. "And now you're acting just like me? I don't like it one bit." Despite his typically harsh words, the head of the sales department seemed genuinely concerned for Soo Jeong. She explained that she was simply enduring difficult situations to protect someone, just as he had done. Meanwhile, on his way home, Soo Jeong overheard that a new director of strategic planning was to be appointed. Since he no longer had any responsibilities to the company, he deleted the restructuring meeting from his phone's calendar. Back at the company, Sin-won, seeing how hard Soo Jeong was working, couldn't help but feel sorry for her. Su Jiang asked Sin-won a favor, requesting that he keep her transfer a secret from Ju-yeon. She was worried that he would be concerned to see her in such a state. Sin-won was confused, wondering why Su Jiang would endure all this when she had the skills to go anywhere. The only reason Su Jiang was putting up with these circumstances was so she could wait for Ju-yeon to return. "If you leave, it'll be over for both of you," he said. At Ha-jin's shop, Sin-won recounted everything to her. Ha-jin said, "Su Jiang's always been like that. In difficult situations, she always appears stronger than ever. She must be so tired." Suddenly, Ha-jin's mother arrived, startling them both. Ha-jin quickly introduced, "This is a new employee," without mentioning that Sin-won was her boyfriend. Her mother, a little suspicious, asked, "We're already poor. Why are you hiring new employees?" Hearing her mother say that, Ha-jin replied, "I'm firing him right now," and quickly ushered Sin-won out the door. But as soon as she stepped outside, she was confronted by her ex-husband, from whom she had been divorced for a long time. It turned out that her mother had come with the intention of getting Ha-jin and her ex to reconcile. But Ha-jin didn't want to. The ex-husband repeatedly said, "I miss you," and "I miss your rib soup." Seeing the ex-husband harassing Ha-jin, Sin-won rushed back in and pulled them apart. He was jealous. Ha-jin finally told her mother, "This guy's no good. He cheated on me with someone else at the company. That's why I divorced him." Upon hearing this, her mother grabbed the ex-husband by the collar. "How dare you cheat on my daughter?" she cried. Before she could give him a good shake, she aggravated her cervical disc herniation and had to be admitted to the hospital. At the hospital, Ha-jin's mother apologized for not knowing that her former son-in-law was such a scoundrel. "You've suffered so much already. Oh, and that young man, he's your boyfriend, right? When are you two getting married?" It was clear that Ha-jin's mother was eager to have grandchildren. Her father, hearing this, chimed in, "If I had known what that son-in-law was like beforehand, I would have chopped him up and put him in the freezer to ease my anger." The next day, at the president's office, Secretary Dong-rin informed her that Su Jiang had no intention of leaving. Because Su Jiang was so prominent, the rumors and gossip affecting everyone were even greater. The president decided to summon Su Jiang directly to her office. When Su Jiang arrived, the president frowned and asked, "Why haven't you left yet, Su Jiang? I bet I know why you're clinging to Ju-yeon, waiting for him to become the heir. But I have no intention of giving Ju-yeon that position." Su Jiang replied, "Then that director's position will remain vacant forever. As for Ju-yeon, he's tried so hard to earn your recognition and love, but you only see him as a substitute, a replacement. Do you think anyone will ever try that hard for you?" Didn't the president understand her own heart? What Su Jiang wanted wasn't the heir's position. All Su Jiang wanted was to find a family for Ju-yeon. Meanwhile, Ju-yeon had become a little suspicious because Su Jiang had been so busy lately. He called Sin-won and made him honestly spill everything that was happening at the company. Consequently, while Su Jiang was struggling with her colleagues, Ju-yeon came to the company and caught her wearing the technical team's uniform. He pulled Su Jiang aside to a more private area and asked why she had to endure such things. Su Jiang said she thought he would worry about her and be heartbroken, which is why she had been enduring these things alone. But the truth is that Ju-yeon is heartbroken to see Su Jiang like this. "But only if you stay here, we both can have a future." Su Jiang hoped Ju-yeon could respect her decision. Ju-yeon told her he would also make a choice for her. On Sin-won's side, he decided to introduce himself to Ha-jin's family and bought a fruit basket. But Ha-jin said she appreciated his thoughtfulness but couldn't accept the gift, asking Sin-won to take it back. She also apologized, saying that seeing Sin-won caring for her so attentively and then having her ex-husband show up again made her feel awkward. Sin-won stood there dumbfounded for a moment. As Ha-jin was about to go inside, he rushed up and asked, "Are you drawing a line in the sand with me?" Sin-won confessed. "Please, can we pretend that line doesn't exist? Every time I'm with you, I feel fluttery and comfortable. I want to go deeper into your life." Ha-jin refused. She told Sin-won that he didn't understand her at all, and that they weren't compatible, leaving Sin-won alone, lost and confused. The following day, at Young-sung's partnership signing with Hannah, the president was called away by his secretary for a moment. When the speaker called the presidents of both companies to the stage to sign the agreement, The reporters present could only stare blankly because no one from Yongsung was coming forward to partner with Hannah. The Yongsung employees were flustered when suddenly Ju Yeon walked in and introduced himself as the director of Yongsung, here today to sign the agreement with Hannah Corporation. The press quickly rushed forward, snapping pictures of this hot news, since he had previously been fired.